A life where every step taken is on purpose, every action tied to a mission. No more waiting for permission, no more hoping someone else will come fix it. Just you, showing up for yourself, not someday, but today. Because the hard truth is, no one is coming to rescue your potential. No one is going to hand you the focus, the energy, or the success. It has to be earned by showing up again and again when it would be easier not to. How many days have slipped by because you were waiting? Waiting for the perfect time, waiting for motivation, waiting to feel ready. But deep down, you know this. Waiting is just a slow form of quitting, and the more you wait, the further you drift from the person you were meant to become. From now on, everything changes. You're not going to wait to be chosen. You're going to choose yourself. Today, you'll learn how to put yourself first, not selfishly, but powerfully. You'll learn what it means to focus with intensity, to work with purpose, and to stop letting your best energy be stolen by distractions, doubts, or other people's agendas. These aren't just motivational ideas. They are tools forged in the fire of ancient Stoic wisdom, designed to help you reclaim control of your time, your thoughts, and your future. And once you start using them, you won't just feel different, you'll be different. So before we dive in, make a promise to yourself. Write it in the comments. Starting today, I am my own priority. I focus, I work, I rise. Say it, mean it, because the more you repeat it, the more your brain will believe it. And when your mind believes it, your life starts to reflect it. Write it now. And let's begin. Number 1. Refuse the myth of the perfect time. There's a voice that whispers every time something important needs to be done. It says, "Not yet." It promises that a better moment is coming, a moment when everything will be easier, when the fear won't be so loud, when you'll be more prepared, more confident, more ready. That voice feels safe. It feels reasonable. But here's the truth that most people avoid their entire lives. There is no perfect time. That voice is not your friend. It's fear in disguise. The Stoics never believed in waiting for better timing. Epictetus said it clearly. Delay is a thief. Every day that slips through your fingers while you wait for the stars to align is a day you gave away for free. Think about it. How many goals have you buried under the excuse of timing? How many dreams have you quietly suffocated by telling yourself, "I'll start tomorrow"? But what if tomorrow never comes? What if later is just another word for never? You weren't made to live in hesitation. You weren't made to stay on the edge of action, looking for signs, waiting for certainty. You were made to choose. And every time you postpone something meaningful, you teach your mind to associate responsibility with anxiety and avoidance with relief. That becomes your pattern. That becomes your life. The Stoic mindset cuts through that pattern. It doesn't ask, "Is this the right time?" It asks, "Why not now?" Because the clock is already ticking. Because life doesn't pause just because you're unsure. The world moves on, with or without you. And the more time you spend waiting, the more momentum you lose. Start noticing how the idea of the perfect moment sneaks into your thinking. You want to start that workout plan, but you say you need better shoes. You want to launch that business idea, but you tell yourself to wait until you learn a little more. You want to start waking up earlier, but you convince yourself next week will be better. Each excuse sounds small, but every excuse is a thread in a larger trap, one you build yourself. What's really stopping you? Is it lack of time? Or is it fear of what happens when there are no more excuses left? The Stoics believe that action is the cure, not planning, not talking, not waiting. Action. Seneca once wrote, "While we waste our time hesitating and postponing, life is slipping away." He wasn't speaking in metaphor. He was warning you. Time doesn't care about your excuses. It moves forward either way. The only question is whether you'll move with it. So the next time you feel yourself waiting, pause, breathe, and say it plainly. There is no perfect time. Let that become your new truth. Make it your new mental reflex. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more readiness. What you need is to act, even if it's small, even if it's clumsy, even if it's terrifying. Because once you begin, momentum takes over. Clarity follows motion, not the other way around. Decide what you've been putting off. Write it down. And don't wait for a fresh Monday, a new month, or the next wave of energy. Start where you are. Use what you have. Take one honest step forward. And when the fear shows up, and it will, don't negotiate with it. Don't sit at the table with it. Outwork it. Outfocus it. Refuse to wait another day just to make fear more comfortable. Remember this: perfection is not the starting line. It's a distraction. The only real start is now. If you keep waiting for the perfect moment to become your best self, you'll spend your whole life standing still. Stop waiting. Be your priority. Start today. Number 2. Start before you feel ready. There's a moment that separates those who grow and those who stay the same. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's the decision to move before the feeling of readiness arrives. Because that feeling, it almost never comes. At least, not when it's needed most. Too many people spend their lives waiting to feel ready. Like readiness is some kind of internal green light that flashes when everything is lined up perfectly. But the Stoics knew better. Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome and one of the most powerful men in history, didn't glide through life on a wave of inspiration. He got up before dawn, even when he didn't want to. He told himself that it was natural for a human being to get up and do the work they were made for. And if he, with the weight of an empire on his back, could choose purpose over comfort, what's stopping you? You weren't built to move only when the mood is right. You weren't designed to live by feeling. You were made to decide, to act, to direct your life like a captain in a storm, not a leaf on the wind. And here's the truth. Greatness starts exactly where excuses used to live. The feeling of not being ready is normal. It's not a sign that you should stop. It's a sign that you're standing at the edge of growth. That tight feeling in your chest, that doubt in your head. It's the signal that you're leaving the safety of routine. It's the sound of your comfort zone cracking. And that's good, because nothing new ever grows in perfect conditions. Growth comes from movement, not from waiting. A Stoic doesn't let feelings vote. Your feelings don't get to decide whether today is the day. Your actions do. And when action becomes a habit, the mind learns to follow. This is how real momentum is built, not from high energy or perfect timing, but from commitment in the face of hesitation. Think of every major step you've taken in life. Did you ever really feel fully prepared? Did you wait for certainty? Or did you take a breath, grit your teeth, and go forward anyway? That's what Marcus Aurelius practiced. Not feeling ready, being ready. Because being ready is a choice. It's the quiet confidence that you'll figure things out along the way. That progress is more important than perfection. That forward is the only real direction. When your alarm rings, Don't ask, "Do I feel like getting up?" When it's time to write, create, build, or lead, don't check your emotions for approval. That's not what a Stoic does. A Stoic acts first and lets clarity follow. Emotion is weather, changing, unpredictable, and beyond your control. But action, that's your domain. That's your strength. So next time the voice in your head says, "You're not ready," don't argue with it. Don't wait for it to go away. Prove it wrong. Take the step. Start the project. Have the conversation. Do the workout. Not because you feel like it, but because you said you would. That's discipline. That's power. That's Stoicism in action. And the moment you move, something incredible happens. That fear loses its grip. That hesitation begins to fade, because movement changes everything. What felt impossible becomes manageable. What felt overwhelming becomes clear. You don't need to feel ready to change your life. You just need to start. And the sooner you start, the sooner readiness catches up to you. So stop waiting for the right mood. Train yourself to move in spite of it. Let your actions lead. Let your choices speak louder than your hesitation. That's what Marcus did. That's what the Stoics did. That's what you were made for. Because once you stop needing to feel ready, there's nothing left to stop you. Number 3, don't let external approval be a prerequisite. There's a silent trap that steals more dreams than failure ever could. The need to be seen, supported, and validated before taking action. That craving for a thumbs up, a nod, or a "yes, go ahead" from the world. But here's the brutal truth. If action depends on applause, the action was never yours to begin with. And if your fuel is approval, the moment people stop clapping, you stop moving. Seneca, one of the great Stoic minds, wrote that a wise person is satisfied with themselves and does not require a crowd's approval, because real strength doesn't echo, it radiates. It doesn't ask, "Will they like this?" It says, "This matters, so I will do it," whether or not anyone is watching. Think about how often progress is paused, not because the goal isn't clear, but because someone didn't cheer loud enough. A good idea gets shelved because friends didn't respond with enthusiasm. A new habit is dropped because no one noticed. A passion fades because it didn't go viral. But a Stoic doesn't chase approval. A Stoic creates from principle, not permission. Your life isn't a group project. You weren't born to fit into every conversation, every trend, or every mold. You were born to walk your own path. And often, that path is quiet. Not because it's wrong, but because it's yours. And your job isn't to convince others, it's to convince yourself, over and over again, every day, until what you build becomes unshakable. There will be times when nobody gets it, when they question why you wake up early, why you keep working, why you keep showing up. Let them. That's not your burden. Your job isn't to meet their expectations. It's to exceed your own. The world is slow to applaud things it doesn't understand. And often, people don't support what makes them uncomfortable, especially when your growth highlights their stagnation. That's not your fault, and it's not your problem. The Stoic knows silence from others is not a verdict. It's just silence. So what if they don't clap? So what if they don't believe in you yet? You don't need a standing ovation to take the first step. You need self-respect. You need vision. And you need the courage to begin without an audience. When you base your worth on external feedback, you give away control. You become a puppet pulled by strings you can't see. But when your approval comes from within, you become immovable. Whether praised or criticized, you stay the course. That's Stoicism. That's inner peace. Seneca didn't wait for applause to write his letters. Marcus Aurelius didn't wait for his court to validate his reflections. Epictetus didn't soften his teachings to make them more popular. They spoke the truth, lived their principles, and let time do the rest. Some understood, some didn't, but their lives remained unchanged by either reaction. So look at your own life right now. What are you hesitating on? What are you holding back just because someone else hasn't told you it's okay? Here's your permission. You are allowed to begin. You are allowed to try. You are allowed to trust yourself even if no one else does. Don't wait to be discovered. Discover yourself. And from that place of strength, build something unshakable. Let your approval be the fire and your actions the proof. You won't always have the world behind you, but you'll always have yourself. Make that enough. That's where true power begins. Number 4. Focus is a moral obligation. In the world today, people treat distraction like it's normal, like it's just part of modern life. But the Stoics didn't see it that way. To them, scattered attention wasn't just unproductive, it was dishonorable. They believed that how you focus is how you live, that what you pay attention to is what you worship. And if your mind is pulled in 1,000 directions, then you've already surrendered the most sacred thing you have, your ability to choose. Focus isn't just about getting things done. It's about deciding what matters and defending it. It's about creating a life where your mind and your actions are aligned. That's not efficiency. That's character. That's virtue. When Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal each morning, he wasn't multitasking. He wasn't checking in on gossip or flipping through distractions. He was locked in, present, aware, because he knew something we often forget, that attention is limited, and once it's gone, it doesn't come back. Time can't be rewound, and energy once wasted can't be reclaimed. The truth is hard, but it's clear. A person who can't focus is not free. They're controlled by every notification, every headline, every whisper of doubt in the mind. The distracted person doesn't steer their life. They react to it. And when you live that way long enough, you stop being trustworthy, even to yourself. But a Stoic? A Stoic guards focus like a soldier defends a gate, because they know that inside the gate is their peace, their purpose, their power. They don't open the door to every passing thought. They don't allow just anything to enter. They stand watch. They say no. They keep the gate strong. That's your challenge too. To stop treating your focus like it's cheap. To stop letting your attention be hijacked by things that don't matter. Because every time you say yes to distraction, you say no to progress. Every time you lose your focus, you lose a piece of your future. What are you letting in? What's stealing your time? Your phone? Your worries? Other people's drama? That mental clutter you keep feeding with every scroll, every click, every meaningless task? That's not just noise. It's erosion. And over time, it chips away at your purpose. You want more control in life? Start with your focus. Build rituals around it. Protect it. Don't just let the day happen to you. Decide what deserves your attention and what doesn't. Then be ruthless about keeping that line. Epictetus once said, "Keep your attention inside you." He wasn't saying to shut out the world. He was saying to master your inner world first, to keep your focus where it belongs, on the things you can control, the things that matter, the things that align with your values. And when you do that, when you focus not out of urgency, but out of integrity, you become powerful. You become steady. Because now, your mind is not a storm. It's a sword, sharp, directed, disciplined. So the next time you feel yourself drifting, pause, ask, is this worthy of my attention? And if it's not, walk away, turn it off, let it go, because your focus is not just a tool for success. It's a statement about who you are and who you are becoming. Focus is a moral act, and every time you choose it, you build trust with yourself. You become someone who shows up with intention, someone others can count on, someone who lives on purpose, not by accident. So protect your focus, guard it, shape it, because the world doesn't need more distracted people. It needs warriors of attention. It needs stoics. Number 5, treat your time like it's borrowed. There's a dangerous illusion most people live under, the illusion that time belongs to them, that they own tomorrow, that next week, next year, or some later will always be waiting, ready to receive the things they put off today. But the Stoics shattered that illusion. They didn't just believe that time was short, they believed it wasn't even theirs to begin with. Seneca warned, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." What he meant was simple. People panic over little things like they'll die tomorrow, but waste their days like they'll live forever. That contradiction is the very thing that keeps most lives average. The Stoic knows better. You weren't promised tomorrow. You weren't even promised tonight. Time is not owned, it's borrowed. Every minute is on loan, and the collector comes without warning. That's why a Stoic doesn't treat time casually. They don't toss it aside on empty gossip, mindless scrolling, or shallow distractions. To them, time is sacred, and to waste it is to insult life itself. Look around. So many people are running from boredom, chasing stimulation, looking for ways to kill time. But why would you try to kill what you can never replace? A Stoic treats time like treasure, because every minute given is a chance to become who you were meant to be. You don't need a calendar to tell you life is short. You just need awareness. Look at how fast the last year went by. Look at how many "I'll do it tomorrows" never got done. Look at how often you've said, "I don't have time," when the truth is you had it, you just spent it on the wrong things. Every time you say yes to something meaningless, you're saying no to something sacred. That hour on your phone, that wasn't free. It cost you an hour of reading, thinking, growing, moving, building. That day spent doing what everyone else expected, that was a day you could have used to get closer to your purpose. Time is always being spent. The question is, on what? The Stoic doesn't just manage time, they revere it. They don't squeeze more into their schedule to look busy. They create space for what matters. They simplify, they subtract, they choose, and they do it not because they're afraid of time running out, but because they respect it enough to not waste it. Hard work isn't just about getting results, it's about honoring the moment. It's about showing the universe you understand the gift of being alive today. To work hard is to treat time as sacred, not just in big moments, but in small ones. In your daily habits, in your choices, in the way you speak, think, and act. So the next time you feel the urge to delay something important, to postpone what matters, stop. Remind yourself, this time is not mine. It's borrowed, and I don't know when it's due back. That's not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up, because once you start living like time is rented, everything changes. You become more present, more deliberate, more powerful. You don't waste words, you don't entertain drama. You stop chasing what doesn't align with your values. You work, not out of pressure, but out of gratitude, because work is how you say thank you to the day you were given. So, live like a Stoic. Treat time like it's sacred. And every day, before the sun sets, ask yourself, did I spend this day like it could have been my last? Or did I act like I owned something I never truly had? Because the truth is, you are not owed more time. You are only offered it. Use it wisely. Number 6. Don't romanticize rest until you've earned it. There's a lie that's spreading like wildfire today. A lie disguised as self-love. It says, you deserve to rest. You deserve to take it easy. You've had a hard week. Relax. But here's the question most people avoid. What exactly have you earned the right to rest from? The Stoics weren't anti-rest. Far from it. They valued balance, discipline, and recovery. But they also understood something that gets twisted in modern culture. Rest is not an escape. It's a reward. And rewards must be earned. Otherwise, what you're calling rest is just avoidance in disguise. Too many people worship the idea of self-care before they've built any self-respect. They light candles and call it healing. They binge shows and call it decompressing. But when the body is idle and the conscience is restless, that's not rest. It's regret marinated in comfort. And the Stoic knows the difference. You can't numb your way into peace. You can't scroll your way out of responsibility. If you didn't push yourself, you didn't earn the pause. If you didn't show up for your goals, for your standards, for your promises, then you haven't arrived at the place where rest becomes restoration. You've arrived at self-sabotage, dressed in cozy pajamas. Marcus Aurelius didn't romanticize laziness. He wrote about the battle every human faces, between comfort and duty, between the couch and the calling. He knew how tempting it was to lie down and just let the day slip by. But he also knew what was at stake. Each moment wasted in lazy comfort was a moment never coming back. Not because rest is wrong, but because misuse of rest is dangerous. There is no greater threat to progress than comfort falsely earned, and no greater tragedy than a person who dulls their ambition in the name of balance without first doing the work that justifies it. Here's the truth. Rest is not a right. It's a privilege, and it means something only when it follows effort. True rest, deep, satisfying, energizing rest, feels different. It lands different. It fills your soul because you know you've drained yourself on something that mattered. That's the kind of rest a Stoic believes in, the kind that restores because it followed honest labor. But when rest becomes a hiding place, it starts to rot you from the inside. Laziness isn't stillness, it's corrosion. It doesn't refresh, it erodes. It dulls the sharp edges of your purpose until nothing feels urgent, nothing feels worth fighting for. That's not self-care, that's self-abandonment. So before you cancel the workout, skip the task, or shut off your brain early, ask yourself, have I earned this? Have I given my full effort today? Am I using rest as recovery or as retreat? You can lie to others, but you can't lie to yourself. You know whether you've pushed hard or coasted. You know if you met your standards or avoided them. And if the truth stings a little, that's good. That sting is your compass. The Stoic doesn't rest because they're tired of trying. They rest so they can try again harder tomorrow. Their body isn't excused, it's recharged. Their mind isn't escaping, it's regrouping. That's the power of earned rest. It builds you. It doesn't blur you. So earn your rest. Don't idolize it. Don't post about it. Don't treat it like a lifestyle until it's a necessity. Work first, hard, with intention, with consistency. Then, when you finally stop for the night, the silence will feel like music. The stillness will feel like strength, and your rest will feel like victory. Number 7. Work in silence so you can hear yourself grow. Noise is easy. Noise is cheap. Anyone can talk about goals, post their intentions, share their grind with the world. But Stoicism doesn't reward noise. It rewards discipline. And discipline, real discipline, happens in silence, away from the applause, away from the eyes, away from the need to be seen. Epictetus said it best: "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." That means don't talk about your goals, live them. Don't announce your plan, execute it. The Stoic doesn't chase validation. They chase progress, quietly, relentlessly, unapologetically. In today's world, everyone wants to be noticed, to go viral, to be celebrated for trying, even before achieving. But when did effort become more about being seen than being effective? The Stoic flips that script. They don't post their progress, they protect it. They don't share their vision, they sharpen it in private. Because silence is where growth happens. Not the loud, flashy kind, the deep kind, the kind that feels like discomfort at first, the kind that smells like sweat, sounds like focus, and looks like repetition, the kind that changes you slowly, quietly, until one day you're unrecognizable and no one even saw it coming. Think of a seed in the ground. It doesn't shout, "Look at me, I'm growing." It just does the work, unseen, until one day it breaks through the soil. That's what Stoic growth looks like. It's rooted in daily effort, not daily updates. Stop needing everyone to know what you're doing. Stop seeking permission to rise. The people who matter will see your results, and the ones who don't, they're not your audience anyway. Work like no one's watching, because that's when you're the most honest. That's when your ego gets out of the way and your real self shows up. Your goals don't need announcements. They need commitment, quiet commitment. Not because you're hiding, but because you're focused. Because you'd rather outwork your past than outperform someone else's perception of you. Because you'd rather build something that lasts than something that trends. Every time you post about what you're going to do, you're releasing pressure. You're tricking your brain into thinking progress has been made, when in truth, the only thing that's moved is your mouth. A Stoic saves their energy for execution. They don't chase claps, they chase clarity. And there's a unique power in that. When you work in silence, you start to hear things that noise drowns out. You hear your doubts, you hear your discipline, you hear your inner voice shaping itself through challenge and repetition. And most importantly, you hear yourself grow, not in volume, but in substance. You want to become great? Then get quiet. Stop explaining. Stop sharing half-finished plans with people who aren't walking your path. Build the thing, shape the habit, do the work. Let the results speak later. You don't owe the world your drafts. You owe yourself the finished product. So go underground. Go internal. Stay consistent. Make the process sacred. Keep showing up for yourself when no one's watching, because that's where greatness is forged. In silence, in solitude, in sweat. And when your moment comes, when the results finally bloom, you won't have to say a word. The life you've built will do all the talking. Number 8. Cut loose the dragging anchors. Picture a boat trying to sail forward while still tied to the dock. The engine roars, the sails stretch, the wind pushes, but nothing moves. Because no matter how powerful the vessel, it can't go anywhere with anchors still dragging beneath it. That's what it looks like to try and build a focused, disciplined, purpose-driven life while mentally chained to your past, while dragging guilt, while clinging to resentment, while holding on to relationships, failures, or mistakes that do nothing but slow you down. The Stoics had no patience for emotional clutter. They didn't carry around unnecessary pain. They didn't nurse old wounds like pets. When something blocked the path, they let it go, cleanly, clearly, not out of coldness, but out of wisdom. Regret is not a strategy, and guilt is not progress. That's why a Stoic slices through those ropes with reason. You can't grow if you're still living in what could have been. You can't focus if your mind keeps circling the same old shame. And you can't rise while surrounded by people who secretly hope you won't. Those are anchors, not companions, and if you don't cut them, they'll drown you. The Stoic mindset demands clarity. That means identifying what's dragging you and refusing to call it necessary. It could be a toxic friendship you've outgrown, a mistake you keep reliving, or a past version of yourself that you haven't forgiven yet. Whatever it is, the rule is simple. If it's holding you down, it doesn't belong in your future. You are not your past. You are not your worst moment. And you are definitely not someone else's opinion of who you are. But if you keep replaying their voice, reliving the mistake, or waiting for closure that will never come, you're not moving forward. You're just circling the dock. The Stoics didn't glorify suffering. They didn't build shrines to their pain. They understood that life is motion, forward motion, and anything that interrupts that motion without purpose must be removed. When something hinders your path, ask, is this helping me grow? If not, cut it. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't hope for closure. Don't drown in analysis. Be surgical. Be sharp. Because dead weight doesn't become lighter the longer you carry it. It becomes heavier. This applies to thoughts too. How many times have you gone to war with the same old memory? How often have you burned energy on battles that ended long ago? That kind of mental noise is not noble. It's a trap. A Stoic trains the mind to let go, not because it's easy, but because it's essential. Your future is not built from shame. It's built from choice. And every time you choose to stay chained to what no longer serves you, you rob yourself of who you could be. So look at your life right now. What's your anchor? What are you still attached to that keeps you from moving with speed and clarity? The job that didn't work out? The friend who betrayed you? The version of yourself that you're ashamed of? Forgive it. Release it. Not for their sake, for yours. Not because it didn't matter, but because it shouldn't matter anymore. Progress isn't just about what you pursue. It's about what you leave behind. And sometimes the most powerful step forward is not a leap. It's a cut. So sharpen your mind like a blade. Identify what's holding you back, then sever the rope. Clean, fast, without ceremony. Because when you finally release the anchors, you'll feel it. The shift, the freedom, the forward motion that only comes when your past no longer has its claws in your future. That's not cruelty, that's Stoicism. And that's how you reclaim your momentum. Number 9. Make pain a companion, not a threat. Most people flinch at the first sign of pain. A little resistance, a little discomfort, and they pull back. They slow down. They start looking for easier roads. But the Stoic doesn't run from pain. They walk alongside it. They treat pain not as a threat, but as a companion. Not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand what it means. Pain isn't always a warning. Sometimes it's confirmation. Confirmation that you're on the right path, that you're pushing limits, that you're not sleepwalking through life. Marcus Aurelius said it clearly. If it's endurable, then endure it. If not, stop complaining. That wasn't meant to be heartless. It was meant to wake us up. To remind us that life's most meaningful progress doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It comes wrapped in pressure. The Stoic treats struggle like a sharpening stone. Each scrape, each grind, each challenge, it's there to shape you, not break you. It's there to polish your edges, to burn away what's weak, to reveal what's unshakable underneath. Most people avoid pain because they believe it's a sign they're doing something wrong. The Stoic knows better. If it's too easy, it's probably too small. If it doesn't stretch you, test you, or make you question your limits, then what's the point? You weren't born to cruise through life untouched. You were built to grow, and growth hurts. Not always, but often enough that pain becomes the price of elevation. Think of any breakthrough in your life. Did it come without resistance? Did it arrive on a soft pillow, or did it demand something from you? Did it make you sweat, doubt, cry, and push anyway? That's pain doing its job. That's discomfort forging something stronger inside you. But here's the catch. Pain only transforms you if you stay with it long enough. Most people tap out too soon. They see discomfort as a stop sign. The Stoic sees it as a mile marker, proof that the journey is real. The gym burns. The study sessions drag. The early mornings sting. The emotional weight of discipline feels heavy, but that's not failure. That's growth in disguise. That's the inner walls expanding to hold a stronger version of you. When pain shows up, don't resist it. Don't dramatize it. Don't make it your identity, but don't run from it either. A Stoic meets it head-on, listens and learns. They ask, what is this here to teach me? What part of me is being tested? What muscle is being built? Pain, when faced with courage, becomes proof. Proof that the mission is worthy. Proof that the body, the mind, the spirit, all of them are alive and engaged. You don't get stronger by avoiding stress. You get stronger by surviving it, learning from it, enduring it with integrity. And not all pain is physical. Some of it is mental, the boredom of long efforts, the doubt of delayed results, the loneliness of walking your own path. But those pains are signals too. They tell you you're alive, engaged, fully in the arena. So let pain walk beside you. Don't treat it like an enemy to silence. Treat it like a companion that keeps you honest. When it knocks, open the door. Sit with it. Learn its name. And then keep going. Because pain doesn't mean stop. It means this matters. It means you're changing. It means you've stepped off the shallow path and into the fire where transformation happens. So don't fear it. Don't flee from it. Invite it in. Make it part of the process. And let it remind you every day, you're not here to stay comfortable. You're here to become unshakable. Number 10. Sacrifice the shallow for the significant. Modern life is a buffet of distractions. Flashy, sugary, shallow distractions. They taste good for a second, but leave nothing behind but a drained mind and a numbed spirit. Endless scrolling, empty conversations, goals abandoned for temporary comfort. But the Stoic sees these for what they are: noise. Noise that eats time, weakens focus, and slowly dulls purpose. The Stoic doesn't live on the surface. They go deep, because depth is where strength is built. But depth requires space, and space requires sacrifice. You can't build something meaningful while chasing everything trivial. You can't climb if you're still holding on to the weight of what doesn't matter. At some point, you have to choose, not just to move forward, but to let go. That's the Stoic move. Eliminate the shallow so the significant can breathe. It's not that things like entertainment, comfort, or fun are evil. It's that they become dangerous when they're constant, when they begin to replace challenge, when they take the seat of priority, because what you focus on, you feed, and what you feed grows. You want stronger discipline? Then stop feeding distraction. You want deeper purpose? Then starve the things that scatter your mind. The Stoic doesn't juggle priorities. They choose. They select one path, one mission, and let the rest fall away. It sounds harsh, but freedom always comes at a cost. The cost is comfort. The cost is popularity. The cost is saying no to people who want your energy but don't contribute to your growth. That's not selfishness, that's strategy. You can't be all things to all people, and you can't say yes to every invitation, every temptation, every impulse. If you do, you dilute yourself, and what's diluted loses power. The Stoic asks, what's the one thing that matters? And then they commit, fully, ruthlessly, quietly, not because they hate everything else, but because they know real progress demands full attention. Look at your own life. How much of your time goes to the shallow? How many of your mornings are lost to the glow of a screen? How many hours are stolen by things that feel urgent but mean nothing in the long run? It's not just about quitting social media or turning off the TV. It's about learning to protect your energy like it's sacred, because it is. And every second you spend chasing shallow pleasures is a second stolen from the deep work that could change your life. It's not easy. The shallow is seductive. It feels good. It's fast. It's everywhere. But the significant? It's quieter. It waits for those who are ready to slow down, cut through the noise, and focus like a warrior. The Stoic mindset is simple. Protect the flame. Your focus is that flame. Your purpose is that fire. Letting it be smothered by nonsense is a betrayal, not just to your goals, but to yourself. So make the hard decisions. Sacrifice what's popular for what's meaningful. Walk away from easy pleasure if it costs you long-term power. Say no, not with guilt, but with clarity. Because every yes to the shallow is a no to the significant. And the Stoic doesn't chase everything. They chase what matters. And that, right there, is the difference between a scattered life and a meaningful one, between noise and legacy. Number 11. Show up even when you're broken. There's a soft lie whispered in today's culture. This idea that everything needs to feel right before you act, that the energy must be perfect, that your emotions must align, that your body, your mind, your motivation, all must be in sync before you begin. But the Stoic laughs at that lie, because the Stoic knows if you wait until everything feels right, you'll never move at all. Some days the soul limps. Some days the mind is heavy. The heart feels hollow. Doubt shows up in full armor, and everything inside you whispers, not today. Rest, hide, quit. But those are the exact days that matter most, not because they're easy, but because they're hard. To show up on the good days, that's convenience. But to show up when everything inside you aches, when your thoughts are a battlefield and your spirit feels like it's held together by threads, that's integrity. That's the real you, rising through the pain. Marcus Aurelius led armies and governed empires through illness, stress, betrayal, and loss. He didn't wait for emotional alignment to do his duty. He understood that pain doesn't excuse action. It tests it. It reveals what you serve, your feelings or your mission. Everyone wants to show up when they're energized, confident, inspired. But growth doesn't live in those moments. Character isn't built on sunshine. It's forged in storms. The kind of storm that knocks the wind out of your lungs and dares you to keep walking. When the Stoic feels broken, they don't crawl into the shadows and disappear. They tighten their grip. They speak softer, but they keep speaking. They walk slower, but they keep walking. They don't wait for healing to begin. They heal by showing up. Because showing up is not about being ready. It's about being loyal. Loyal to your values. Loyal to your discipline. Loyal to the part of you that refuses to bow to weakness. There's a freedom that comes when you stop needing perfect conditions. When you stop believing the lie that broken means unworthy. You're allowed to feel pain, but you're not allowed to let pain decide your worth. That decision is always yours. You want to know who you really are? Watch yourself on the bad days. Watch what you do when no one would blame you for quitting. When the noise inside is louder than the applause outside. When comfort calls and you still say, "No, I have work to do." That's what Stoicism is. Not emotional numbness, but emotional sovereignty. The power to act without being chained to your inner chaos. Some of the greatest achievements in history were done by people in pain, people with fear in their veins, people who carried invisible wounds but still stood tall. They didn't wait for the pain to leave. They carried it forward like a torch. So whatever you're facing, grief, doubt, anxiety, exhaustion, let it walk with you, but don't let it lead. Let it breathe in the same room, but don't hand it the keys. The goal is not to be unbroken. The goal is to be unshakable, even while broken. You don't have to feel like a warrior to act like one. You don't have to be fully healed to make an impact. You don't have to be fearless to be brave. You just have to keep showing up. Especially when it's hard. Especially when it hurts. That's when the real transformation happens. Not on the days when everything clicks, but on the days when nothing does, and you still refuse to disappear. That's not weakness. That's power. That's Stoicism. That's you, becoming something unbreakable, one broken step at a time. Number 12. Be ruthless with routine. Most people treat routine like a cage, something that limits freedom, crushes creativity, and makes life dull. But the Stoic sees it differently. The Stoic knows that freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you feel like. It comes from mastering your impulses, from building a system so strong that chaos has nowhere to enter. And that system, it's called routine. Marcus Aurelius didn't wake up and let the day decide who he would be. He started each morning with intention, with truth, with structure. He reminded himself that hardship was coming. People would be rude, plans would fall apart, his body might ache. But he also reminded himself he was built to endure it. That morning ritual wasn't fluff. It was armor. It was sharpening the sword before entering battle. A Stoic doesn't stumble into the day hoping for clarity. They create it. They build rituals that anchor the mind and guide the body, and they are ruthless about sticking to them. Because the more consistent the routine, the less energy is wasted on decisions that don't matter. When your mind knows exactly how each morning begins, hesitation disappears. When your body is trained to follow a pattern, resistance loses its power. Routine becomes momentum in disguise. You don't have to fight yourself every morning. You just follow the structure. And the structure carries you forward even when motivation doesn't. That's what most people don't understand. Discipline is not about being strict for the sake of it. It's about building systems that protect your purpose. It's about conserving mental energy so you can focus where it counts. The more you automate the basics, the more room you have for the important battles. You want to waste your energy? Start your day with no plan, no schedule, no structure. Scroll your phone for 45 minutes, skip breakfast, scramble into work mode, and then wonder why your mind feels foggy and weak. That's not freedom, that's friction. And friction eats momentum. The Stoic eliminates friction. They design the day before the day begins. They create rituals that lock in progress before the first challenge even appears. Maybe it's waking up early. Maybe it's journaling, exercise, cold water, stillness, reading, prayer. Whatever it is, it's consistent. Not when it's easy, not when it's exciting. Every day, especially on the hard ones, because routine isn't boring. It's weaponized repetition. It's the invisible framework behind every strong person you admire. It's the reason some people collapse under pressure and others don't even flinch. A clear routine is like a compass in a storm. It keeps you moving, keeps you focused, keeps you sane. And when life gets hard, and it will, you won't rise to the occasion. You'll fall back on your habits. That's why you build strong ones. Not because you're weak, but because you respect the weight of the days to come. Be ruthless with your structure. Say no to anything that breaks the rhythm. Protect your morning like a lion protects its territory. Don't let lazy voices or lazy people interrupt what keeps you grounded. This is how the Stoic finds freedom. Not by doing whatever they feel, but by designing a life that reflects what they value, and then living it on repeat. So if you're drifting, build a routine. If you're overwhelmed, simplify it. And if you already have one, tighten it, sharpen it, defend it. Because the routine you commit to is the life you're building. And the more ruthless you are with your routine, the more unstoppable you become. Number 13. Make peace with going unnoticed. It's tempting to want to be seen, to crave the nod, the like, the approval, to hope that someone out there is watching and saying, "Look how hard they're working." But the Stoic knows this craving for recognition is a trap, because the moment you need to be noticed, you've already handed away your power. Some of the greatest work you will ever do will be invisible. Some of your most defining days will come and go without a single witness. No spotlight, no applause, just you, the silence, and the task at hand. And that's not failure. That's focus. The Stoic doesn't need an audience to give their best. They don't rely on visibility to validate their journey. They find strength in the shadows, because they understand that greatness isn't made under bright lights. It's made in the quiet hours, the thankless efforts, the repeated steps no one sees. To go unnoticed and still show up, that is power. That is where character is forged, not in the recognition, but in the refusal to need it. Because when you let go of the need to be seen, something changes. You work for the work's sake. You build not to be admired, but to become. Think about this. The tree that grows tall starts underground. Its roots stretch deep in the dark before anyone sees the first leaf. And even when it begins to rise, it does so slowly, quietly, without needing an audience to cheer it on. That's how real strength is built. The world will always reward the loud, the flashy, the trending. But the Stoic doesn't care about trends. They care about truth. They care about consistency. They care about building something real, even if it's never clapped for. Some of the most powerful people walk right past you, unnoticed, not because they're weak, but because they're grounded. Their energy isn't leaking out, trying to be admired. It's directed inward, toward mastery, toward discipline, toward silent growth. Let others perform. You practice. Let others chase validation. You chase virtue. Because the person who trains without being watched, who improves without being praised, who builds without posting every brick, that's the person who becomes unshakable. Recognition is temporary. The work stays. The discipline stays. The internal scoreboard, that's what matters. So when you feel unseen, don't panic. That's not a sign to quit. That's a sign that you're finally free to focus. No performance, no pretending. Just pure effort, undiluted by the need to impress. If you find yourself working in silence right now, stay there. It's not a punishment. It's a gift. It means you're building in peace. It means you're growing without noise. It means the next version of you is being sculpted where no one else can interrupt. And when the results come, and they will, you still won't need the recognition, because by then, the reward won't be fame. It will be who you've become, quietly, deliberately, unbreakably. So make peace with going unnoticed. It doesn't make your effort any smaller. It makes your soul stronger. And that strength? That's the kind that can't be taken away. That's Stoicism. That's freedom. Number 14. Choose effort over outcome. There's a kind of torment that eats away at most people, the obsession with results. The constant questioning, did it work? Was it worth it? Will they like it? Will I win? That kind of thinking drains energy, kills momentum, and chains your self-worth to things outside your control. But the Stoic doesn't live like that. The Stoic is free, not because they always win, but because they stop needing to. One of the most powerful Stoic teachings is simple. Control what you can. Let go of what you can't. And at the center of that truth sits a quiet revolution. Effort matters more than outcome. Always. The result may rise. The result may fall. The world may applaud. The world may stay silent. But the effort, that is yours. Fully, entirely, unshakably. That's why the Stoic doesn't fixate on the scoreboard. They don't pace around waiting for validation. They don't tie their identity to the reaction. They tie it to the action. The Stoic shows up, gives their best, and walks away clean. Not because they don't care, but because they care about the right thing. Each day becomes an offering, a ritual, a moment to say, this is what I have. This is what I'll give. This is who I am, regardless of outcome. That mindset creates a rare kind of strength, a peace that can't be touched by wins or losses. Because when your pride is built on effort, not results, you become immune to failure. Not because failure doesn't happen, but because it doesn't define you. Look at your own life. How many times have you hesitated to act because you weren't sure it would work? How often have you held back because you feared the result? That hesitation, that fear, is not Stoic. It's a distraction. When you obsess over outcomes, you give away your power. You start performing instead of living. You bend your values to fit the response. But when you choose effort, everything changes. You become anchored. You become free. This doesn't mean you stop aiming high. It means you stop depending on the destination to justify the journey. The goal is still there, but it's not your master. The process is. The grind is. The intention is. The Stoic shows up to train, to write, to lead, to serve. Not for claps, not for medals, but because it's who they've chosen to be. And when setbacks come, and they will, it doesn't break them. Because their identity wasn't tied to the win, it was tied to the work. And the beauty is, This mindset travels everywhere, in your job, in your health, in your relationships. If you show up each day with full effort, full presence, and zero obsession with how it's received, you win every time. Not because the world gave you something, but because you gave everything you had. That's not weakness. That's not passive. That's power at the highest level. That's emotional armor. That's how you walk through chaos untouched. Because your success isn't built on things you can't control. So today, let go of the outcome. Drop the weight of expectation. Show up. Do the work. Give your best. And when the result arrives, good or bad, receive it with grace. Then move forward. Because the Stoic doesn't ask, did it work? They ask, did I give all I could? And when the answer is yes, nothing else matters. That's how you win without needing to win. That's how you live without fear. That's how you build something that lasts. Anchored in action, immune to failure, free. Number 15. Stop waiting for who you could be. Be it now. There's a dangerous myth that keeps most people stuck. It says, someday. Someday you'll become disciplined. Someday you'll take your health seriously. Someday you'll speak up, start the project, become the version of yourself you quietly admire. But that day never comes. Because waiting is comfortable, it feels safe. It lets you postpone the pressure of becoming by pretending there's still time. But the Stoic doesn't wait. The Stoic knows that someday is a lie the mind tells to avoid change. And the longer you wait to be who you are meant to be, the more you teach yourself that it's okay to settle. Epictetus didn't soften his challenge. He asked plainly, how long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? Not when things are easier, not when you feel more confident, not when someone gives you permission. Now, there is no waiting room in Stoicism, no emotional lounge where greatness patiently brews. The person you dream of being isn't found tomorrow. That person is built this hour by what you think, what you tolerate, and what you act on. If you want to become something greater, stop searching for the moment that makes it easier. Instead, realize this: you've already arrived. The door is open. The tools are here. The only thing missing is your decision to act like it's real. The Stoic knows that delaying is disowning. Every time you say, one day I'll be better, what you're really saying is, I'm not responsible for today. But you are. You always have been. You don't step into your potential later. You activate it now. With the habits you build, the words you speak, the limits you refuse to accept. The future is not a location. It's a reflection of the choices you make right here, right now. So stop waiting. Stop pacing around your potential like it's behind some glass wall. It's not. The gap between who you are and who you want to be isn't time. It's action. And the second you choose effort over excuse, commitment over comfort, alignment over approval, you collapse that gap. Will it feel perfect? No. You might feel awkward. You might feel small. You might feel like an imposter. But those are just growing pains. The sound of your old life being replaced by something stronger. There is no rite of passage, no flashing light that signals your readiness. You decide. You begin. You embody. The Stoic doesn't just wait for the right feeling. They create the right direction. Through discipline, through clarity, through the courage to live as if the future is already here, because it is. So ask yourself today, what would the best version of me do right now? Then go do that, not because you feel like it, not because it's easy, but because each time you act like the person you want to become, you are that person, even if no one sees it yet. This is your life, not the trailer, not the rehearsal. This is the show. You don't get to pause it. You only get to direct it, or let it run on autopilot. The Stoic chooses to direct it, boldly, quietly, with full ownership. They don't wait for someone to crown them with greatness. They step into it, minute by minute, decision by decision. So stop waiting. The best version of you isn't out there. It's in here, waiting to be claimed. Be it now. The door has already opened. Walk through it. There is no more room for delay, no more space for maybe later. You've just walked through 15 Stoic truths that do more than motivate. They demand transformation. Each one is a mirror, showing what's holding you back and what's already within you, waiting to be activated. The perfect time is a myth. The real you doesn't live in the future. It lives in your next decision. Your focus is your freedom. Your effort is your proof. And your discipline is the quiet fire that will build a life no one can take from you. So be your priority. Not tomorrow, not when it's easy. Now. Drop a comment and write, "I'm done waiting. I choose action." In this video, we're going to take a deep dive into the heart of Stoic philosophy. We'll explore its core teachings and uncover how these ancient principles can still guide us today. The timeless phrases of Stoicism aren't just wise sayings. They're practical tools to help us navigate life's daily struggles, cultivate inner peace, and develop a resilient mindset. If this is your first time visiting my channel, please support the content by subscribing and liking the video so I can continue bringing you more valuable insights like these. Now, come along with me as we unravel the essence of Stoic wisdom and see how it can bring clarity and direction amidst the chaos of modern life. Discover the foundational ideas of Stoicism and learn how to apply them to your own journey with our ebook Stoic Mentality, a guide to contemporary living. You can find the link to it in the first pinned comment below. Let's begin. Everyone wants to see you succeed, but some only pretend to. Others will actively root for your downfall. That's why it's essential to learn self-reliance and remember that you are mortal. If you don't become independent and capable, the consequences later can be deeply painful. Let go of worrying about what others think. Really, who cares? Keep your thoughts to yourself and steer clear of fools. Their mindset is contagious. Some of your friends want to see you do well, just not better than them. The rest? They simply don't care. Learn to say yes and mean it. Don't agree to things just to make others feel comfortable. Always consult your own conscience before making commitments. Many people won't truly value you, especially when they see you as competition. Rule your life with your mind, not your emotions. Think back. Every poor decision you've made was likely driven more by emotion than reason. Always listen to your instincts. In ways you don't even realize, they understand things you haven't yet figured out. Know your worth and never put yourself on clearance. When you lower your value, others will too. Time moves fast. Be grateful. No matter how bad things seem, they could always be worse. Live like there's no tomorrow and focus on what you love. The money will come. Don't torture yourself with regret. No one is perfect. Stop chasing happiness. Focus on staying positive, and joy will follow naturally. Be mindful of those who say they love you. Many don't mean it. Often, they're using you. Trust yourself and trust your first instincts when making choices. Keep your expectations low when it comes to others, but always keep your standards high for yourself. Expecting too much from people is a formula for disappointment. Stay focused on your own growth. People will enter and leave your life. That's just how it goes. If you don't learn to control your mind, someone else will. Sometimes the heartbreaks you experience are what finally clear your vision. Solitude is the price of growth. Be proud of yourself for surviving the days you thought would break you. Not everyone is going to like you, and that's okay. Stop oversharing. Most people don't care, and some are secretly hoping you fail. Be kind, but don't let people take advantage of you. It's better to be disliked for who you truly are than to be loved for pretending to be someone else. Don't destroy yourself trying to impress people who don't even have it together. Avoid those who make you feel alone, even when you're with them. Bad company is worse than no company at all. Make peace with your past so it doesn't ruin your present. Don't compare your life with others. You don't know the full story of their journey. Never underestimate how dangerous foolish people can be. No one else is going to figure out your life for you. It's your responsibility. Sometimes everything can go wrong all at once, no matter how well you planned. If you're too nice, people will walk all over you. Be prepared for that. A negative phase can start out of nowhere. You have to be willing to swallow your pain and grow by yourself. Never let a single person be the source of all your happiness, because if they leave, they take your happiness with them. Trust carefully, not blindly. When you take on your friends' problems, you take on their burdens too. The smaller your circle, the fewer headaches you'll have. Never expect someone to catch you when you fall. Even if you're doing all the work for yourself, some people will still hurt you. But those rare few who are worth the pain, keep them close. Be proud of how hard you're trying. Don't look back. That's not the direction you're heading. Don't rely too heavily on anyone, because even your shadow disappears when you're in the dark. Focus on building your work and building your life. Work on yourself and build your fortune. In your lowest moments, you'll discover a lot. And remember, some of the best moments of your life still haven't happened yet. This is your world. Shape it, or someone else will. Bad habits are like soft beds, easy to fall into and hard to get out of. Nobody is too busy. It's always a matter of priorities. If something brings you joy, keep it quiet. The best decision I made was to stop telling everyone what I'm doing. Success without hard work is like trying to harvest where you never planted. Don't beg, don't chase, let life unfold. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. If no one offers help, do it alone. Take your financial well-being seriously. Money is a powerful shield against many of life's challenges. Guard your time. Many people don't deserve a second of it. What people think about you is none of your business. You can't change the beginning, but you can start from where you are and shape the ending. Being alone gives you the chance to reconnect with yourself. Sometimes you need to stop assuming the best in people and start observing their actions. Don't pretend to be better than you are. Live at your own pace. Life's too short to waste on hate. Your darkest moment might end up being the best thing that ever happened to you. Envy is a waste of your energy. You already have what you need to begin. If you don't ask, the answer is always no. Treat others the way you'd want to be treated. And if you tell the truth, there's nothing to remember. Life isn't always fair, but be good anyway. The ones who don't take risks never accomplish much. Don't trust words, trust actions. Do yourself a favor. Get rich. Life is easier with money, not with time. If you can survive the chaos in your own head, you can survive anything. If someone doesn't appreciate you, they don't deserve you. Learn how to heal quietly. Not everyone needs to hear your pain. Stop expecting things from people. Everything will come to you when the time is right. Be patient and trust the process. Failure is just a bruise. It's not permanent. Avoid gossip. It's poison for your mind. At the root of all suffering is attachment. Time eventually reveals what you truly mean to someone. Stress might be temporary, but the lessons it teaches you can stay with you forever. If someone tries to bring you down, it's because they're already below you. Money isn't everything, but it solves a lot. No matter how smart, successful, or attractive you are, no one likes arrogance. Humility means everything. Never feel ashamed of having a good heart. All the good you give out will return and often multiply. Don't feel guilty for doing what's best for you. Choose your circle wisely. The fastest way to grow is to be around people who are better than you. Hope for the best. Prepare for the worst. People want to see you do well, just not better than them. No is one of the most powerful words you can use. Don't exhaust yourself trying to please everyone. In your darkest moments, you'll often be alone, but those moments will make you wiser, stronger, and more courageous. No matter how kind or respectful you are, some people will still speak poorly of you behind your back. If you spend your life building someone else's dream, you're sacrificing your own. No matter how much good you do, people will always remember your mistakes. To get somewhere new, you must leave something behind. If you stay too long, you'll end up with nothing but regrets. You may not realize it, but the people you love the most are often your biggest weaknesses. The hard times are a blessing in disguise. They open your eyes to all the good you once took for granted. If you're impatient, life becomes harder. Patience, on the other hand, works miracles. Trust is easy to lose and hard to rebuild. Worrying won't fix tomorrow's problems. It only steals today's peace. Don't fear making tough decisions. Those are usually the ones that shape you the most. The more you hold on to your past, the less likely your future will shine with promise. Taking action is 10 times more powerful than simply reading or planning. Real-world experience remains life's greatest teacher. Every relationship, whether we admit it or not, carries some degree of self-interest. At the core, we are all a bit selfish. If you're not dating with marriage in mind, then you're probably in it for heartbreak. Let that sink in. A meaningful relationship begins with self-respect, because if you don't respect yourself, it's obvious to others. If you don't address misunderstandings quickly, they'll eventually become the very reason for distance between you and those you love. The people you care about could leave this world at any moment. Cherish them. Nothing is ever as simple as it appears. There's no better way to secure your future than by saving money consistently. The magic of compound interest can quietly transform your life. While good things often come to those who wait, they usually suffer during the wait. Still, the journey, though long and painful, is entirely worth it. Whether it's a machine, a home, or a relationship, regular maintenance is always less costly than fixing things after they're broken. In many places, your level of respect correlates with your financial status. We shed tears over people, but with time, those emotions fade, and time doesn't stop or rewind. Time is everything, and someday it will define who you became. When it's all said and done, what will really matter is your health and what you accomplished. Pain often leads us to our wisest choices because the fear of feeling that same pain again is a powerful motivator. In your darkest hours, you'll begin to see things more clearly. The harder your past was, the more radiant your future has the potential to be. You're unlikely to live a truly comfortable life with just one income stream. You need to create more. Most of what you fear will never actually happen. You attract what you embody. So if you want to do better, you have to become better. Learn how to cook a few simple meals. It's a life skill that will serve you well. Patience isn't weakness, it's strength. Sometimes you have to let go of something good to make space for something even better. Never accept disrespect, not even from yourself. Listen more and speak less, because wisdom often comes wrapped in silence. Make a budget and stick to it. Kindness is a universal language, one that even the deaf can hear and the blind can see. Worrying may feel like doing something, but in reality, it's like a rocking chair. It keeps you occupied but gets you nowhere. You can't begin a new chapter of your life if you're still rereading the last one. The best views only come after the hardest climbs. Success doesn't always shout. Sometimes it's just that quiet little voice at day's end whispering, "I'll try again tomorrow." Don't lose your sense of humor. Laughter is the soul's best medicine. You'll never see a rainbow if your head is always down. Pay off your credit card bills. It'll save you stress in the long run. The best revenge isn't anger, it's massive success. The more you give, the more life gives you in return. Tough times never last, but strong people do. The most precious currency isn't money, it's time. Spend it carefully. A ship might be safest in the harbor, but that's not why ships are built. How you treat others says more about you than it does about them. Life isn't about having what you want. It's about wanting what you already have. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Take the moment you have and make it perfect. Believe in yourself, and everything else will eventually fall into place. Don't fear taking risks or trying something new. Life's far too short to always play it safe. Own your actions. That's what maturity looks like. Take a deep breath. It's just a bad day, not a bad life. Don't say someday. Say now, because someday may never come. Give to small charities. Acts of kindness change lives. If someone never makes mistakes, it likely means they've never tried anything new. You can't change the wind's direction, but you can always adjust your sails to reach your goals. When life finally gets better, you'll look back and be glad you didn't give up. Forgive your ex. Let go of the people who are wrong for you. Only then can the right ones arrive. God knows when to send exactly what you need. No regrets. Just do better next time. There will always be someone who doesn't value you. Just don't let that someone be you. Seek genuine respect, not shallow attention. Be careful whom you trust. Salt and sugar look almost identical. Some things need to end for better things to begin. Time will always reveal what's true. If you truly matter to someone, they'll find a way, even if life separates you. So appreciate every moment with those you love. Stay private, stay discreet, and don't tell everyone everything. Handle your personal life with care. Money is a means, not an end. The real goal is freedom. You're responsible for your own happiness. If you depend on others to create it for you, you'll constantly be disappointed. Do what no one else can do, and you'll become what no one else can become. Stay calm. You've overcome tough times before, and you will again. A negative mindset will never lead to a positive life. If someone treats you like an option, walk away. Choose experience over possessions, because memories are life's true riches. Accept what is. Let go of what was. Trust in what will be. There are so many people who love you. Don't waste your energy on those who don't. You deserve everything: the career, the love, the family, the peace, the life. Your vision might be blurry now, but with time and patience, it'll clear up. Patience is your quiet ally. Never forget the people who stood by you in hard times. You are enough, just as you are. You have nothing to prove to anyone. No matter how painful your past was, you always have the chance to begin again. Sometimes you have to go through the worst to reach the best. You'll remain alone until someone sees your true worth. Take care of your body. It's a different kind of wealth. If you can make a woman laugh, you can make her believe anything. Hard times always show you who your real friends are. Better days are coming. Yes, you may wake up with a heavy heart some mornings, but remember, your strongest muscle and your worst enemy is your mind. Train it. Someone else's success doesn't diminish your own. Don't let the same people hurt you more than once. Accept that some people love to blame others. They'll even blame you for things you didn't do. Stop complaining. It's wasted energy. Besides, who's really listening? You can't control everything or everyone, but you can always control yourself. And that's even better. Always move at your own pace, not based on expectations from society, friends, or family. If the house is messy and the garden is wild this weekend, it's okay. In the future, you'll remember the fun you had, not the tidy home. Make time for joy. Learn to say, "I don't know." Be frugal. Eat simple, real food. Avoid wheat and limit carbs. The more you learn, the more foolish small minds will seem. Pay close attention to people's red flags. Block them out early. It'll save you so much pain and wasted time. Never take on responsibilities that don't belong to you. Never compromise your worth. Trust your instincts. And above all, never take your loved ones for granted. Set firm boundaries. Be selective about who gets access to your life. If you truly want to grow, find someone worth serving. Service gives you experience, connections, and a reputation for reliability. True mastery only comes from practice. Buy and rent what you can afford. The fewer things you own, the lighter your life will feel. Life is rarely black and white. Often, there is no right or wrong choice. Sometimes, you just have to wing it. Don't walk away from someone just to teach them a lesson. Walk away because you've learned yours. Life is far from over, but it's also incredibly short. If there's something you want to do, don't put it off. But also, don't trade your long-term goals for short-term pleasures. When you're unsure, just take the next small step. Build relationships with people you admire, not just those who accept you easily. Surround yourself with people whose values and habits you admire, not simply those who are easiest to connect with or who readily accept you. The people you spend your time with will heavily influence your direction in life. Be cautious not only about who you choose to marry, but even more so about the kind of person you become in a marriage. If you become a parent, understand that making mistakes is a necessary part of learning and growth. Don't wait too long to start. Time slips by quickly. The older you get, the harder it becomes to change your habits or direction. Aside from your family, most people don't care about your struggles or triumphs. Begin saving money now. Avoid the temptation to spend on extravagant homes, flashy cars, or maxed-out credit cards. In the long run, you'll find much more peace in financial stability. Life is rarely as terrible as it seems in the moment, and rarely as amazing as you hope it will be. Guard your health. Without it, nothing else matters. No amount of wealth can bring joy if you're constantly suffering physically or mentally. Aim to get married before turning 30, and if you want children, try to have them before 35. Work diligently and earn well before you hit 40, and strive to establish passive income sources by 50. Make it a goal to retire before 60. Do all you can for your family out of love, but don't expect anything in return, not even from your partner. You will never regret saying, "I love you" to someone, so don't wait until it's too late. Make it a habit to save money regularly. A small amount each week or month can bring a huge sense of security and peace. It might be hard to believe, but having a financial cushion truly contributes to your happiness. If something in your life is functioning well, don't tamper with it unnecessarily. Be loyal in your relationships or choose to stay single. It really is that straightforward. Expect nothing and learn to appreciate everything. Gratitude for the small, often overlooked aspects of life is what leads to inner peace. The harder you work, the more you seem to get lucky. Don't take things personally. People's actions are often reflections of their own inner battles. Forgive easily and be understanding, but don't allow yourself to be taken for a fool. Don't say maybe when you really want to say no. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Your self-respect must always outweigh your emotions. Don't let success inflate your ego or failure shatter your spirit. Discipline is the highest form of self-respect. If you're a generous person, know your limits, because others often won't respect them. Don't waste energy explaining yourself to people who have already made up their minds. They'll only hear what aligns with their perceptions. Accept constructive criticism, but never tolerate disrespect. If there's something you truly want, don't give up. Waiting is hard, but living with regret is harder. When you're angry, remain silent until your emotions settle. In life, you always have 3 choices: watch things happen, make them happen, or be confused about what just happened. Stay strong, even when it feels like everything is falling apart. People will judge you no matter what, so be true to yourself. You don't have to win every argument. Sometimes, agreeing to disagree is the wiser path. Live with no regrets, just lessons. Don't worry, just accept. Let go of expectations and embrace gratitude. Life is fleeting. The calmer your mind, the clearer your thoughts. The more genuine interest you show in others, the more engaging you will seem to them. If you never allow yourself to fall, you're just slipping through life. Hatred is a curse. It doesn't wound the one it's directed at, but it deeply harms the one who carries it. Let go of resentment like it's poison. We suffer more from our imagined fears than from actual reality. People evolve. Love can hurt. Friends might walk away. Life may not always go as planned, but it continues. So must you. Learn to say no without guilt. Explain your boundaries when needed and strive to be a good person, but don't waste your time proving it. Share your dreams sparingly, especially not with everyone you call a friend. Trust carefully. Keep your goals private until they are achieved. If you want to be seen as trustworthy, be honest. No one will care about your aspirations the way you do. You are the only person responsible for bringing them to life. Let go of past pain, but never forget the lessons they brought you. Controlling others may seem like power, but true strength lies in mastering yourself. Even the kindest souls have their limits. The path you choose matters more than how fast you're going. Control your thoughts, or they'll control you. Keep your personal life private. Discretion is strength. Don't make life-altering decisions when you're overwhelmed by fleeting emotions. To reach your highest self, you must first be capable of enduring the lowest points. As long as you're breathing, there's no obstacle you can't outlast. Thinking you're always right leaves no room for growth. Be patient. The best moments often arrive unannounced. Never regret any day. Good ones bring happiness, bad ones teach you, the worst days offer wisdom, and the best give memories. Life is a single, irreplaceable opportunity. Use it wisely. Be authentically yourself. Not everyone has to like you, and that's perfectly okay. Free yourself from the pressure to follow society's advice. Many don't even know what they're doing themselves. It might hurt at first, but eventually it makes you stronger. It's okay to walk certain paths alone. Your goals are personal and sacred. The family you build can be even more meaningful than the one you were born into. Life is short. Live it fully. Love is rare. Embrace it when it comes. Anger is harmful. Face it honestly. Moments of sweetness. Cherish them deeply. Missing someone doesn't necessarily mean they belong in your life. Sometimes missing is just part of healing. As you age, attend as many funerals as your heart can handle and listen to what people say. They rarely speak of accomplishments. Instead, they remember the kind of person someone was during their lifetime. Make sure you have at least one person who offers honest feedback. Be kind, generous, and gracious, but don't let others take advantage. Clinging too tightly to anything will only bring anxiety. Life doesn't unfold the way we want just because we wish it to. Pay attention to people's actions more than their words. Don't react with immediate anger. Let time settle your thoughts before responding. Words spoken in rage can't be undone. Keep your privacy sacred. There's no use regretting the past. You did your best with the knowledge you had at the time. People will see you for who you are, not who you needed them to be. Don't jump to conclusions. Be perceptive and give others time to reveal their true character. Never underestimate contempt. It can be deeply damaging. If someone consistently belittles or talks down to you, whether socially or professionally, remove them from your life. Never lend money unless you can afford to lose it. Borrowing may last days, but recovering it from careless hands can take years. Solve your problems before discussing them with others, especially friends. No matter how tough it gets, don't expose your weaknesses to those who might use them against you. People often enjoy watching others stumble. Don't give them that pleasure. Listen closely to those who tell you uncomfortable truths. Avoid the trap of self-pity. It's dangerously consuming. Just because you're in a dark place now doesn't mean you won't smile again. Pain is temporary. Sadly, we use our health to chase wealth, only to spend all our wealth later seeking one healthier day. Grudges don't harm those we resent. They only hurt us. Haters don't suffer. Only the ones who carry that hate do. Time will shape you more than anything else. It's the truest judge. You can't fight it. The only constant in life is change. Embrace it and you'll grow. Say please and thank you often. You can't rewrite the past, but you can shape the future by learning from it. One of the heaviest burdens we carry is expectation. It's better to be alone than with someone who brings you down. Once you stop chasing the wrong people or things, the right ones find their way in. There are no shortcuts to places worth going. You won't know how strong you are until strength is your only option. Don't let what you can't do overshadow what you can do. The best way to build confidence is to face what you fear. A river doesn't cut through rock because of force, but because of persistence. There's no elevator to success. You'll need to take the stairs. The greatest risk in life is not taking any at all. Happiness isn't something to delay for someday. It's something you must create now. Life won't get better by accident. It gets better with intention and effort. The only real limits are the ones you impose on yourself. A small act of prevention is worth more than any cure. Focus on what you can influence and release what you can't. Take time to savor life's simple pleasures. Within them often lies our deepest joy. Give without expecting anything back. The only time you should look back is to see how far you've come. You can't live a positive life with a mind trapped in negativity. Doubt kills far more dreams than failure ever will. When life puts you under pressure, remember that even diamonds are made that way. If you're feeling exhausted, don't quit. Rest instead. Don't let yesterday's shadows dim the light of tomorrow. Never delay your joy waiting for a perfect moment. Tomorrow isn't promised. The first step to moving forward in life is deciding that you are no longer willing to remain in the same place. Rather than chasing after people, particularly women, focus on your personal growth, values, and cultivating kindness. The right person will come into your life at the right time without the need to chase after them. Never lower your head in defeat. Instead, keep it held high and face the world with confidence. The true measure of a man's character is revealed by what he does when no one is watching. You don't need to win every argument. Sometimes it's more important to simply agree to disagree. Make the decision to spend time with older individuals whose wisdom and life experiences are invaluable. Keep your circle small and maintain a private life, for peace of mind often comes with solitude. It's important to recognize that sometimes we create our own disappointments through the expectations we place on others. It's okay to make mistakes because they are a sign that you are trying. Remember, it's not things that should matter most to you, but people. And even the smallest lie can destroy the biggest trust. Be kind and generous, not because you expect something in return, but because it reflects the goodness within you. Embrace solitude as it provides time for self-reflection and personal growth. Trust is something not everyone will earn, and it's important to acknowledge that not everyone will be trustworthy. Don't shy away from expressing your feelings, as vulnerability is a sign of strength. Rejection is part of life, and learning to handle it with grace is essential. Remember, it's just a bad day, not a bad life, and things will improve in time. Be careful not to overthink or trust too much. Loving too deeply can lead to disappointment, and while you may face disappointments many times, how you respond is what truly matters. Never allow anyone to make you feel undeserving of what you want in life. Do what is right for you, even if it means hurting someone you love. The days that break you are often the ones that push you to grow the most. Time waits for no one. It simply urges you to either catch up or stay behind. Never allow a relationship to damage your mental health, and remember that your happiness cannot depend on others. Being overly kind to the point of self-sacrifice will eventually break you. Trust yourself, as you have already overcome many challenges, and you will continue to do so. Comfort often weakens you mentally, and sometimes loneliness is the price you pay for growth. You are who you are, and you don't need anyone's approval to live your life. Learn more from what people do, rather than just listening to what they say. Don't expect anything from anyone, as this will save you from disappointment. Take advantage of every opportunity, because regrets often come from the chances we didn't take. If you can dream it, you can achieve it. Stop oversharing with others, as everyone comes into your life for a reason, but if they are meant to stay, they will. Your past is never a mistake if you've learned from it. When someone avoids you, respect their space and move on. People may forget what you said or did, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Some people are destined to cross your path, but are not meant to stay forever. The direction you're heading in is more important than how fast you're moving. Never fall in love with the same person twice, because the second time you're falling in love with the memories, not the person. View failure as a valuable teacher and a necessary stepping stone towards success. Celebrate even the small victories because they pave the way for larger accomplishments. Surround yourself with those who bring you peace and spend more time with them. Never be afraid to treat people the way they treat you. Be authentic and don't waste time on people who don't value you. Never hesitate to invest in yourself, as it pays off in the long run. Stop doubting yourself and believe in your potential. You can learn more about a person by what they say about others than by what others say about them. Trust your heart to guide you and let your mind lead you safely toward your goals. If you rely too heavily on one and neglect the other, you will lose balance. Life is a one-time experience, so do what makes you happy. You can't achieve great things if you're distracted by trivial matters. Remember that 5 years ago, you dreamed of being where you are today. Not everyone needs to be your friend, and that's perfectly okay. You don't always have to be on the move, doing something all the time. Take time to relax and give back, whether through a kind gesture or by helping someone in need. Everything happens for a reason, so don't be afraid to experience suffering. It's a natural part of growth. Don't sacrifice your health to make money, as you'll likely end up spending that money trying to recover your health. Be kind to others, but don't allow them to take advantage of your generosity. Your efforts are never wasted, even if others don't appreciate them. How others perceive you is not nearly as important as how you view yourself. To live like a king, you must work tirelessly toward your goals. Everything you need will come to you at the right time, so trust the process. You entered this world alone, and you will leave it alone. Therefore, remember that you have the strength to achieve the impossible by relying on your own determination and perseverance. Expect lies, for they are part of life. In the end, you'll likely regret more the things you didn't do than those you did. Things do not bring happiness, experiences do. Stay silent in moments of happiness and also in moments of sadness, for both can be fleeting. Stop comparing yourself to others who may have started their journeys earlier. Focus on your own path, for you cannot change the beginning, but you can start right now and alter the end. If you waste money, you can always earn it back. But if you miss an opportunity, it may never return. Live with open eyes, ears, and heart, because strong people tend to be simple. You spend your first 20 years worrying about what others think of you, your next 20 swearing you no longer care, and then you realize, in your later years, that others are not thinking about you as much as you once believed. Never reveal your weaknesses to others. Always strive to showcase your best qualities, and never let your enemies see you at your lowest. Time passes swiftly. One day you're 30, and the next you're 50. Plan now how you want the rest of your life to unfold. Excellence is not a gift. It is a skill that requires practice. We don't perform excellently because we are inherently excellent. We achieve excellence by consistently acting with intention, effort, and intelligence. Our choices, not chance, determine our destiny. Friendship is a quick bond, but true friendship is something that matures over time. Happiness is the ultimate goal of life, the meaning and purpose behind our existence. A friend to all is often a friend to none. Patience may be bitter in the moment, but its fruits are sweet for those who learn to endure. Parents who educate their children well deserve greater honor than those who simply gave them life, for it is education that shapes the future. Music and the arts provide the keys to understanding life as they touch the deepest parts of our souls. Poets, though sometimes unaware of their own understanding, express what cannot be said plainly. To know oneself is the beginning of all wisdom, and an educated mind can entertain different thoughts without immediately accepting them. True friendship is when two souls are intertwined in understanding and trust. Educating the heart alongside the mind is what truly constitutes an education. Hope is the waking dream that drives us forward, for no great mind has existed without a touch of madness. Happiness is within our control, and while anyone can become angry, true mastery of emotion is being able to direct it toward the right person at the right time and for the right reason. Excellence is never a result of accident. It is the culmination of intention, effort, and intelligent choices. Friends may come easily, but true friendship requires time. Patience, though hard to cultivate, yields sweet rewards for those who persist. The most worthy individuals to honor are those who have educated and nurtured you, for it is their wisdom that will carry you through life. Children, though given life by their parents, are more deserving of our respect and admiration because it is the mentors, the ones who teach them, who truly shape their future. Living well is often perceived as a struggle, but once a person conquers their fears, they will experience a profound sense of freedom. Those who seek knowledge, who strive to understand, and who take the time to impart that wisdom to others, are the ones who will experience true freedom and fulfillment. Educated individuals stand apart from the uneducated, just as the living stand apart from the dead. Trust should only be placed in one individual, for genuine trust is rare and hard-earned. I wish to see in you 3 things: the sorrow behind your smile, the love behind your anger, and the reasons behind your silence. If your absence doesn't make a difference to anyone, it suggests that you may never have truly mattered in their lives. Strive not for applause, but to work for a cause that is greater than yourself. Express yourself fully, not for the sake of impressing others, but because it is who you are. What occupies your thoughts will ultimately shape your reality. If challenges don't come your way, you'll remain unchanged. Be humble enough to admit when you're wrong and wise enough to remain silent when you're right. Understand that the moment you realize you deserve better, letting go will be the most empowering decision you can make. Always distinguish between what you are receiving and what you truly deserve. Never fear being different. Fear only the urge to outshine others for the wrong reasons. Respect is earned through honesty, trust through appreciation, and loyalty is something that is returned when you have been true to others. Remember, you must endure difficult days in order to fully appreciate the best ones. Every expert was once a beginner, and though the truth may cost nothing, a lie could cost you everything. Strength should be balanced by gentleness, for too much resistance can lead to breaking. A truly strong individual knows when to act with force and when to show restraint. The course of fortune and disaster often depends on knowing when to give up and when to persist. Those who lack the capacity to endure hardship are often the ones who face the greatest suffering. Sometimes, all we can do is endure our pain until the time comes when it can be healed or resolved. To solve a problem, it's essential to address its cause, not just its symptoms. The highest form of knowledge is knowing that we don't know everything, while the greatest torment comes from thinking we know when we truly don't. True intelligence lies in understanding others, while wisdom is found in understanding oneself. Strength is about dominating others, but true power is about controlling oneself. A branch that is too rigid will break, and too much resistance ultimately leads to destruction. A strong person understands when to use force and when to give in, and they know that good fortune and disaster hinge on this delicate balance. Only that which is of no use to the empire is worthy of being discarded. At the center of yourself lies the answer. You know who you are and what you want. Life is a continuous series of natural and spontaneous changes. Resist not these changes, for doing so only brings sadness. Let reality be as it is, and allow things to flow naturally to their rightful place. Kindness in speech fosters trust. Kindness in thought creates depth, and kindness in action cultivates love. A mind preoccupied with concepts often prevents one from experiencing things directly. A person bound by concepts can never truly understand the essence of life. Trying to explain something like Zen is akin to trying to trap the wind in a box. Once you close the lid, the wind ceases to exist. Over time, it becomes stagnant air. Sometimes your circle of influence may shrink, but in doing so, you gain greater courage. One day, you'll wake up and realize that time has run out to do all the things you've always dreamed of. Don't wait. Do them now. There's only one thing worse than a hardened heart, and that's a soft head. True success doesn't come without effort. Compound interest grows the best rewards, just as persistence through adversity builds strength and character. The more you dwell on your misfortunes, the greater their power to harm you. The path to health requires you to eat what you don't like, drink what you find unappealing, and do what you would rather not do. Avoid arguing with those who are not capable of reason. They will only drag you down to their level and eventually defeat you through sheer persistence. A broken promise may hurt, but it's often better than none at all. If you think you can, or if you think you can't, you are right. Never hit someone if you can avoid it, but if you must act, do so with honor. Make the most of your resources and circumstances. Remember that a gem cannot be polished without friction, and neither can a man be perfected without trials. Suffering before it is necessary only leads to unnecessary pain. We should not follow the crowd blindly, but rather choose our own path, even if it leads us away from the popular one. We often love ourselves more than others, yet we care more about the opinions of others than our own. Luck is simply what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Live as though you are already dead. All that remains is how you live the present moment. Focus on now, for everything else is either in the past or unknown. If you are feeling alone, it may be because you have neglected yourself. Don't worry about who is by your side. Learn to rest, not to give up. The two most important days in your life are the day you are born and the day you discover why you were born. Adversity often prepares ordinary people for extraordinary destinies. Positive thinking is a powerful tool, often making everything better than negative thinking ever could. The only real mistake is the one from which we learn nothing. Your past should serve as a place of learning and growth, not a place where you live forever. Don't rush the process. Trust that big things take time. Big dreams require healthy habits, and healthy habits require self-discipline. If you can stay positive in a negative situation, you will find victory. Sometimes you win. Sometimes you learn. Take a deep breath. It's just a bad day, not a bad life. You may fall 7 times, but you get up 8. If you believe it will work, you'll see opportunities. If you believe it won't, you'll only see obstacles. If you don't try, it will never happen. Don't give up on yourself. There's a reason why you began this journey toward becoming your best self. What you think in your mind becomes your reality. Making mistakes is better than pretending to be perfect. Accept what is, let go of what was, and have faith in what will be. The calmer you are, the clearer your thoughts will be. The moment you want to give up is often when you need to push forward the most. Control your thoughts, or they will control you. Become a ghost. Forget about seeking attention and simply grow in private. 2 qualities define you: your patience when you have nothing, and your attitude when you have everything. Don't give up. Nothing lasts forever, not even pain. Keep things private until they're permanent. You only fail when you stop trying. You don't need more time. You need fewer distractions. Learn to value yourself above others. Tranquility comes when you let go of what is behind you, allowing you to focus on what lies ahead. To be your best, you must be prepared to face the worst. A goal without a plan is merely a wish. Life is about being yourself. Don't lose who you are by trying to be someone else. If life were predictable, it wouldn't be life. It would be tasteless. Life is like a coin. You can spend it however you wish, but you only get to spend it once. Practice self-compassion, for we are all human, and we all make mistakes. Time heals almost everything. Give it time. Sometimes you have to let go of something good to make room for something better. What others think of you is none of your concern. You can't move forward in life if you keep dwelling on the past. The best view comes after the hardest climb, and you'll never see a rainbow if you're always looking down. Hard times don't last, but strong people do. While you can't change the direction of the wind, you can adjust your sails to reach your destination. There are no shortcuts to worthwhile destinations. A river cuts through rock, not because of its strength, but because of its persistence. Focus on what you can control and leave the rest behind. The only time you should look back is to see how far you've come. Doubt kills more dreams than failure ever will. Diamonds are formed under pressure, and the first step to moving forward is deciding that you're not willing to stay where you are. Your true character is revealed by what you do when no one is looking. Don't waste your life trying to impress others. Stay away from those who make you feel small. No company is better than bad company. Don't compare your life to others, for you have no idea what their journey is like. Your life is your responsibility. Life may not always be fair, but it is still good. Those who are too afraid to take risks will never succeed in life. Do yourself a favor. Get rich in experiences, because life becomes easier when you have wealth, not time. To avoid disappointment, don't expect anything from anyone. Stress may be temporary, but the lessons it teaches last a lifetime. Keep moving forward, trust the process, and do it better next time. The harder you work, the luckier you'll become. If you are generous, remember to learn your limits, because not everyone will share the same generosity. In life, you have 3 choices. You can see things happen, make things happen, or wonder what happened. Live with no regrets, only lessons learned. Practice acceptance, gratitude, and be at peace with life, for it is too short. The more you care for others, the more fascinating you will find yourself. Show interest, as we tend to suffer more from the imagination of things than from reality. It's true that people change. Love can be painful, friends may leave, and things can slip away. But remember that life continues. Don't reveal what you're working on until it's complete. Your hopes and dreams are yours alone, and only you have the power to make them come true. Forget the hurt, but never forget the lessons it taught you. Strength comes from dominating others, but true power lies in mastering yourself. The path you choose is far more important than how fast you move along it. Never regret a day in your life. Good days bring happiness, bad days bring experience, the worst days bring lessons, and the best days bring memories. Life is fleeting, make the most of it. Love is complex and strange, hold on to it. Anger is destructive, let it go. Fear is paralyzing, face it. The people who are dear to you are precious, cherish them. Be cautious about relying too much on anyone in this world, for even your shadow will leave you in the dark. Never forget that some of your greatest moments have not yet occurred. Bad habits are like a comfortable bed, easy to fall into, but hard to escape. No one is truly too busy. It's all about priorities. If something makes you happy, keep it to yourself. Be careful with whom you place your trust, as some may seem sweet on the surface, but hide hidden motives. Time always reveals how much you mean to others. Stay calm. You've faced challenges before, and you'll overcome them again. If people treat you as an option, then leave them as a choice. Value experiences over possessions, for memories are the true treasures of life. Focus on those who love you and ignore those who don't. Your vision might blur at times, but it will clear up with time. Take care of your body. Your health is another form of wealth. Your mind is both your strongest ally and your worst enemy. Training yourself is more beneficial than the countless attempts of a beginner. In politics, we tend to think that anyone who knows how to win votes can effectively govern. But that's not always the case. When we're sick, we don't look for the most handsome or eloquent doctor. We seek the best treatment. Honor men more than the truth. There are two things you should never let anger consume you over: what you can control and what you cannot. When others speak badly of you, live your life in such a way that no one will believe them. The beginning of any endeavor is the most important part. Ask yourself, are we awake, or are all our thoughts just dreams? The purpose of education is to help us love the beauty of knowledge. A house with a library has a soul. Necessity is the mother of invention. Those who can see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will often never be understood, let alone believed, by the masses. Death is not the worst thing that can happen to a person. Wealth is truly found in living contentedly with little. When physical exercise is obligatory, it does not harm the body, but knowledge gained through forceful means doesn't stick to the mind. Beauty is truly in the eye of the beholder, and many people will dislike you, especially if they see you as a competitor. Always listen to your instincts. They will reveal truths you wouldn't expect. Rule your life with your mind, not your emotions. Every bad decision we've made in life was more emotionally driven than rational. Trusting yourself is a virtue. Life isn't about having good cards. It's about playing a bad hand well. Thousands of candles can be lit from a single flame, and your life will not be shortened by sharing happiness. At first, you choose a partner based on appearance, but you will later realize that values, not looks, will guide how you raise your children. If you expect the world to treat you fairly just because you're fair, you are deceiving yourself. Learn to say what you mean and mean what you say. Resentment is like drinking poison and hoping it will hurt your enemies. You can always make money, and the world won't end because you don't have a fixed income. Something else will come along. Your friends want you to do well, but not better than them. Don't worry about the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is real. If you want to know someone, observe the 5 people they interact with the most. When you're trying to break a habit, don't tell yourself it's the last time you'll do it. Tell yourself it's the first time you won't. Be mindful of small expenses, for small leaks will sink a large ship. Never compare your life to someone else's. Their life may appear better, but they have struggles you've never heard of. If they don't have what you want, don't listen to what they say. Justifying your actions to people living a life you don't desire is a waste of time. Keep your personal matters to yourself and avoid the company of fools. Stupidity is contagious. Not everything in this world should be your concern. Some problems are simply none of your business. Focus on what directly affects you, and you'll find more happiness. Your worth is not defined by someone else's failure to recognize it. Life can only be understood looking backward, but we must live it moving forward. Don't ignore problems that you see on the horizon. Foresight is a gift, so don't waste it. He who laughs at himself will never run out of things to laugh about. Decision-making, like coffee, needs time to cool down. Don't judge a day by the harvest, but by the seeds you plant. Every failure brings with it the experience to do better next time. Pay attention to those who say they love you, as they might not always mean it. They might just be using you. Trust your instincts, especially when it comes to decisions. You spend all your health to acquire wealth, then spend all your wealth to regain your health. Those who say you can't achieve something are usually just afraid of you doing it. Be cautious about who you call your friends. Sometimes 4 trustworthy people are worth more than 100 who aren't. Don't feel pressured to conform. Keep moving forward. The feeling will pass, and you'll remain. Lower your expectations, as high expectations of yourself and others often lead to chronic dissatisfaction. The problems your friends face will eventually become your own. The smaller your social circle, the fewer problems you'll have. Today, you are the oldest you've ever been and the youngest you'll ever be again. What begins in anger often ends in shame. Don't set yourself on fire to keep others warm. The only true error is one from which you learn nothing. Success is 5% intelligence and 95% consistency. Learn to be self-sufficient, for independence and resourcefulness are vital. People tend to stay in one place because of what they value. A ship in a harbor is safe, but that's not what ships are built for. People are good at keeping secrets, but you don't always know everyone's true nature. Some teach you about love and support, while others teach you what to avoid. Not everyone wants to see you succeed, and some will go to great lengths to see you fail. If people were to feel the pain they've caused you, you would lose the strength you've gained. Don't fear the shadow. It only means there's light nearby. If you want to get rich, focus on saving as much as earning. Stop worrying about what others think. When you laugh, people laugh with you. When you cry, it's only when you try to please everyone that you end up pleasing no one. Be yourself. Others are already taken. It's possible to make mistakes and still lose. That's not weakness, it's life. Don't reveal your thoughts or knowledge too openly. Keep some secrets, because today's friend could be tomorrow's enemy. A busy person is rarely visited by idle friends, and flies don't land in boiling pots. Don't get caught up in regrets. No one is perfect. Don't pursue happiness, just stay positive, and joy will follow. Stop trying to please everyone. You need enemies to succeed. Without them, you wouldn't take their advice or criticism. Everyone falls, but it's in getting up that we learn to walk. You're not a product of your circumstances, but of your decisions. Focus on yourself. People come and go, and you don't always notice your progress because you're constantly raising the bar. There are two wolves inside all of us, one bad, one good. Which one will win? The one you feed. Loneliness is the price of personal growth. Judgment is inevitable, so embrace it, no matter the outcome. Don't live to impress others, live to impress yourself. Comparison steals joy, so focus on your own path. Never be so kind that you forget to be clever, and never be so clever that you forget kindness. If you don't control your mind, someone else will. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. Complaining and lamenting never lead to results. Life's challenges aren't there to paralyze you, but to reveal who you really are. Sacrificing your progress for a friend may not be reciprocated if the roles were reversed. Never compare your life to another's. You don't know their journey. People will forget what you said and what you did, but they will always remember how you made them feel. People lie most during elections, wars, or after a hunt. The more you like yourself, the less you'll need others. If you want something you've never had, you have to do something you've never done. Walk away from people who make you feel alone. No company is better than bad company. Write your sad moments in the sand, but your happy ones in stone. Be kind, but don't let people take advantage of you. The world doesn't care about your potential. It cares about what you've done. You're not responsible for the first thought that crosses your mind, but you are responsible for the second. Those who have a reason to live can endure almost anything. Never underestimate the power of foolish people. Don't wait. Knowledge begins with knowing a tomato is a fruit, but wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. Circumstances may shape you, but they do not define you. You are here for a reason, even if you don't fully understand it yet. Patience is essential, and being grateful for life's small blessings is vital. Imagine for a moment that your entire life, every setback, every hardship, wasn't a detour, but a deliberate path leading you towards something greater. Now, I get it. That might sound like one of those motivational phrases you scroll past without a second thought. But what if I told you it wasn't just a feel-good slogan, but a core truth embedded in an ancient philosophy that has endured through centuries? I'm talking about Stoicism, a way of life that doesn't merely help us endure pain or hardship, but invites us to welcome it, to mold it into the very foundation of our strength. Today, we're diving into the soul of Stoicism to explore how this age-old wisdom isn't just a source of comfort in dark times, but a practical guide to living each day with meaning, resilience, and purpose. Whether you're dealing with personal turmoil, career hurdles, or the endless noise of everyday chaos, Stoic teachings offer more than survival tactics. They offer a philosophy for thriving. They show us that the secret to a fulfilling life doesn't lie in changing what's around us, but in mastering how we respond to it. So if you've ever felt like you're swimming against the current, if you've ever wondered how to remain grounded in the midst of life's storms, or if you're simply curious about how the ancient can transform the modern, you're exactly where you need to be. Join me on this path as we unlock the power of Stoicism, discovering how to turn life's obstacles into the very fuel that drives our evolution. And while we embark on this shared journey, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned. Every part of this exploration is designed to uplift and transform, and you won't want to miss a single second of it. Have you ever realized you're settling for less than you're capable of? Many of us drift through our days, weeks, even years without questioning the invisible limits we've placed on ourselves. This is where one deceptively simple yet profoundly powerful question comes into play. Why not? At first glance, it seems basic, But this question has the potential to dismantle the fears and complacency that quietly confine us. Now, let's inject this with some Stoic insight. The Stoics didn't believe in waiting for life to happen to them. They were active participants, constantly examining their actions and motives through the lens of virtue and continuous self-improvement. When a Stoic encountered a challenge or a moment of decision, they asked themselves, why not choose the path that promotes growth? This wasn't about being reckless. It was about making thoughtful, intentional decisions that align with who they were and who they were striving to become. So the next time you stand at a crossroads, uncertain or hesitant, challenge yourself. Why not pursue that goal? Why not take the risk? Why not believe in yourself and move toward your vision? It's in those decisive moments that the trajectory of our lives begins to shift. But this question isn't just about confronting external roadblocks. It also forces us to face the internal voices that whisper doubts and promote safety over progress. It challenges the fear of failure, the comfort of routine, and the lies we tell ourselves about what we can or can't do. It's a wake-up call to rise above mediocrity and claim the extraordinary potential that lies dormant within us. Think of every Stoic figure you've read about. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca. They weren't seeking comfort. They embraced struggle as a vehicle for becoming stronger, wiser, and more virtuous. That's what you do when you ask, why not? You step into life with intention. You commit to growth. You move forward with courage. So next time you hesitate, remember that the power to rewrite your story is already in your hands. You are capable of exceeding your perceived limits. Adopt the Stoic perspective. Ask, why not? And watch as your inner curiosity, bravery, and dedication begin to reshape your life. In Stoicism, this drive for continual growth connects with the concept of prokopton, the idea that we are all works in progress. The Stoics weren't chasing flawlessness. They were dedicated to progress, steady, disciplined, and intentional progress. They focused on what they could control, their actions, their character, and how they chose to respond to life's inevitable fluctuations. They understood that meaningful progress lies at the heart of a fulfilling life. Whether it's honing a professional skill, deepening a meaningful relationship, or nurturing inner peace, growth is the foundation of everything that brings purpose. When you become obsessed with improvement, you align with one of Stoicism's highest virtues, self-mastery. You pursue excellence not for recognition, but because it's the purest expression of living in accordance with your values. But let's be clear, being obsessed with improving isn't about being ruthless or overly critical of yourself. It's about being compassionately committed to your evolution. It's about recognizing your progress, no matter how small, and celebrating it, while staying eager for the next step in your personal transformation. There will be setbacks, there will be failures, but to the Stoic, these aren't dead ends. They are powerful lessons, each one offering insight and depth to your journey. So how do you nurture this obsession with growth? Start by setting meaningful goals that echo your inner values. Reflect daily on your decisions and behaviors, checking if they align with the person you aspire to be. Welcome challenges not as threats, but as teachers. Stay open, curious, and always ready to learn, refine, and adapt. The journey never ends. There's always another level of depth, another virtue to embody, another skill to master. In this endless pursuit lies true satisfaction. So let's embrace this passion for growth, not as a destination, but as a lifestyle. As we walk this path together, let's uplift each other, aiming ever higher living each day with purpose, courage, and an unstoppable desire to evolve. The Stoics are celebrated for their resilience, their unwavering resolve, and their deep dedication to living a principled life. When they committed to something, they poured their entire soul into it. Not for praise or applause, but because they knew that this total engagement, this giving everything they had, was what gave their actions meaning. They didn't half-heartedly approach their lives. They gave it their all, understanding that the true value of effort lies not in the result, but in the wholehearted intention behind it. Giving it your all means devoting your energy, attention, and heart to whatever you're doing. It means waking up each day and choosing to live with direction and clarity, rather than drifting through the motions. It means not just dreaming about a better life, but making bold moves that bring it into being, even when uncertainty looms. But this idea of giving your all isn't only about outward action. It's about the way you carry yourself in everything you do. It's about showing up with sincerity and integrity in your work, your relationships, and your personal journey. It's about being fully present, deeply engaged, and intentional with how you live your life. And when the road gets tough, as it inevitably will, it's about standing firm in the face of adversity, drawing from your inner strength to keep going. So how do you live this principle? Begin by getting crystal clear on what truly matters to you. Identify your deepest values, your most important goals, and the passions that light you up. Then, commit to them with all your being. Hold yourself to a high standard, not because you feel pressured to, but because you want to live in alignment with your truest self. Understand that giving it your all isn't a one-time push. It's a daily commitment, a way of being. And as you live this way, you'll find yourself not only advancing toward your goals, but also experiencing a richer, deeper sense of meaning along the way. Let's walk this path together, motivating each other to show up fully, to live with fire and intention, and to create lives that echo with virtue, excellence, and enduring purpose. Because in the end, what truly matters is not just what we achieve, but who we become through it all. We live in a world overflowing with distractions, temptations, and reasons to stray from our chosen path. But real transformation happens when you decide to stay committed, despite the noise. When you remain grounded in your values and your journey, you take a stand for something higher. You honor your truth, your direction, and most importantly, your inner self. The Stoics understood the chaotic nature of life. They knew how easy it was to veer off course. But they also recognized the immense power of remaining faithful to your principles. For them, staying on the path wasn't just a matter of achieving goals. It was a reflection of character, of integrity. So what does staying on your path look like for you? It means getting clear on your purpose, knowing what you value, what you're working toward, and what kind of person you are becoming. It means fixing your eyes on your internal North Star and letting it guide you through life's storms. But, and this is vital, staying the course doesn't mean becoming rigid or unmoving. Life is fluid, unpredictable. True commitment to your path includes the wisdom to adapt. It's about learning, adjusting, and evolving in a way that remains true to your core. Your flexibility must be rooted in your values, not swayed by external pressures or distractions. How can you ensure you're still aligned with your path? Start by cultivating self-awareness. Reflect often. Write down your vision and your values. Use them as your compass. Build the discipline to make aligned choices, even when they're hard. And when you encounter setbacks, don't see them as reasons to quit. See them as the very moments that test and strengthen your resolve. We're taught to focus on results, to chase the prize. But Stoicism offers us a liberating truth, that there's immense peace and power in detaching from outcomes. This shift in mindset allows us to focus on what we can control, our effort, our virtue, our commitment to the process. It's a way of living that brings true freedom, and it's where the real magic begins. The Stoics remind us that some aspects of life are within our control, while others are not. What we can govern are our choices, our intentions, our efforts, and our mindset. But the results of those efforts often depend on external factors that we simply can't influence. When we become overly attached to outcomes, we open ourselves up to disappointment, frustration, and even despair because we're grasping at something beyond our reach. So what does it actually mean to take the focus off the results? It means committing yourself completely to whatever you're doing, whether it's a work assignment, a personal ambition, or a meaningful relationship, and doing it wholeheartedly. It's about immersing yourself in the process, tackling its challenges, and embracing the lessons it offers, without becoming emotionally tethered to how things turn out. Think about the freedom that comes from engaging in your work with passion and care, not for the sake of rewards, applause, or external success, but because you genuinely believe in what you're doing. That's the core of Stoic wisdom, discovering fulfillment and meaning in your actions themselves, not merely in their consequences. Now, that doesn't mean you should stop caring about success or abandon your goals. Rather, it invites you to redefine what success actually means. It's about evaluating yourself by your actions and your character. Did you conduct yourself with integrity, courage, and perseverance? Did you grow through the experience? In the Stoic philosophy, these are the true indicators of a successful life. To adopt this mindset in your everyday life, start by revisiting your core values and identifying the person you aspire to be. Let these values guide your goals, focusing more on who you're becoming and what you're doing, rather than what you're hoping to receive in return. When you start feeling anxious or fixated on outcomes, gently remind yourself of what's within your control, your mindset and your actions, and redirect your energy back to those. Picture your life as a mirror that reflects not only what you present to the world, but also the essence of who you are on the inside. If your inner world is full of fear, negativity, or resentment, those elements will inevitably color your experiences and relationships. On the other hand, if you foster virtues like kindness, strength, and honesty, those qualities will naturally radiate outward, drawing in more positivity and connection. The Stoics emphasized building a strong inner character because they understood this was the true cornerstone of a meaningful life. While you may not have power over external events, you always have the power to choose the person you want to be in response to those events. By dedicating yourself to being your best self, your life will begin to reflect those same qualities. But how do you bring this idea of becoming what you want to attract into your daily habits? Begin by engaging in thoughtful self-reflection. Observe your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions with honesty and compassion. Recognize where you have room to grow and intentionally work on cultivating the virtues that resonate with you, be it bravery during tough times, persistence in chasing your dreams, or empathy toward others. This journey isn't about perfection or pretending you don't stumble. It's about becoming deeply aware of your internal world and aligning it with your values. It's also about the willingness to keep growing, especially when things get hard. And when you make mistakes, as everyone does, it's about having the humility to learn and the strength to continue improving. Embracing this Stoic teaching gives you the power to shape your own reality. While you can't dictate what happens to you, you have immense influence over how you respond. As you align your inner world with your highest ideals, you'll find that the outer world begins to reflect that same harmony and depth. Now think back on the challenges you've encountered in your life. We've all had them, some minor annoyances, others life-altering hardships. The natural reaction might be to feel discouraged, frustrated, or even hopeless. But what if you could see those obstacles differently, not as roadblocks, but as opportunities in disguise? This is a central insight in Stoic thought. The Stoics didn't deny the reality of suffering. They acknowledged that life can be painful and difficult. Yet they also believed that within every hardship lies a chance for growth, a lesson that can lead to something greater. The way we react to obstacles shapes our experience far more than the obstacles themselves. By choosing to view each challenge as a chance to learn and grow, we move from being passive victims of circumstance to becoming proactive agents of transformation. So how can you bring this belief into your everyday life? Start by changing how you look at problems. When something difficult arises, pause and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How is this shaping me into a better version of myself? Rather than letting setbacks drain you, let them be the fuel that builds your strength, creativity, and resilience. Understand that the most worthwhile achievements often come from the hardest climbs. The struggles you endure, the roadblocks you overcome, and the perseverance you build are all part of your personal evolution. Every difficulty is a chance to practice patience, bravery, and adaptability, qualities that shape you into a deeper, wiser human being. And remember, facing challenges often calls for new ways of thinking. It's in those tough times that you're pushed to break your limits, to think differently, and to uncover strengths you didn't even know you had. When you adopt the Stoic view of obstacles, you also begin to feel a deep sense of gratitude for the growth they bring, for the strength they reveal, and for the clarity they offer. You start to cherish the journey itself, knowing that the most meaningful insights often arise from adversity. In the grand scheme of life, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. Your dreams may seem too big and your problems too complicated. You might wonder, what difference can my small actions possibly make? But here's the truth. Every great achievement is made up of countless small efforts. Every monumental change is built from tiny, consistent steps. The Stoics taught that while we don't control the final outcome, we always control the present moment, our choices, our actions, our attitude. They encouraged us to live with purpose, to take meaningful steps, no matter how small, and to focus on what is right in front of us. Do what little you can is not a call to mediocrity. It's a call to live intentionally, to participate fully in life, no matter how modest your contribution may appear. So, how can you live this out? Begin by breaking your bigger goals into smaller, manageable tasks. Concentrate on what you can do today, even if it's just a tiny step forward. Progress isn't about taking huge leaps. It's about staying consistent, showing up, and building momentum through persistence. Each small action is like a brick, forming the foundation for your larger dreams. This Stoic mindset also teaches us to find fulfillment in the process, not just the prize. When you're focused on doing your part well, no matter how insignificant it may seem, you naturally become more present, more engaged, and ultimately more effective. You begin to value the journey itself, its ups and downs, its pauses and pushes, because you know that real growth and satisfaction come from the effort you put in each day. Adopting this attitude also builds humility and strength. It helps you accept your limitations while still affirming your ability to make a difference. You become more flexible, more resourceful, and more determined, even when the results aren't immediate or obvious. In a society where success is often equated with wealth, titles, or online popularity, it's easy to lose your sense of what truly matters. But imagine stepping back and reconsidering how you define success altogether. The Stoics invite us to do just that. They argue that real success has nothing to do with possessions or public praise. Instead, it's about developing a character rooted in virtue, living in harmony with nature, and embracing your role as a human being with honesty and integrity. In this view, success isn't about winning in the eyes of the world. It's about being just, courageous, wise, and true to yourself, no matter your external situation. It's about living a life of purpose and principle, and that, according to the Stoics, is the highest achievement of all. This mindset is incredibly liberating because it shifts the power back to us. While we may not be able to influence the economy, job market, or the opinions of others, we always retain control over our own values and decisions. So how do we begin reshaping our understanding of success? It starts with self-reflection. Take the time to explore what you genuinely care about and the kind of person you aspire to be. Think about the traits you respect in others and make a conscious effort to develop those traits within yourself. Set goals that align with your values and emphasize personal growth and the positive impact you can have on others. Changing how we define success also involves appreciating the journey, not just the destination. Learn to celebrate your efforts, perseverance, and small victories, even if they don't lead to immediate results. Remember, according to Stoic philosophy, real success is just as much about how you handle obstacles and hardships as it is about reaching your objectives. It's about staying grounded in your principles and maintaining inner peace no matter what's happening around you. Redefining success in this way can also bring deeper fulfillment and joy. When you stop chasing validation from the outside world, you free yourself to focus on what truly brings you peace and satisfaction. You may find that a life rooted in virtue and meaningful action is far more rewarding than one built on outward accomplishments alone. In today's culture, where approval from others is often mistaken for success, it's easy to forget who we are and what truly drives us. We get caught up in seeking validation, trying to be liked, admired, or accepted. But Stoicism offers a powerful remedy for this outward focus. It teaches that our worth and our decisions should be grounded in our internal values and virtues, not in the constantly shifting opinions of the crowd. The Stoics warn us that constantly seeking approval can become a form of bondage. When we tie our sense of self to how others perceive us, we give away our freedom. We start adjusting our actions and self-worth based on their reactions. But once we release ourselves from this need for approval, we discover a deep sense of freedom and authenticity. We begin living in accordance with our true values, doing what we know is right and meaningful, regardless of whether it earns us recognition or applause. So how do we begin to separate our actions from the desire to be liked? It begins with self-awareness. We must look inward and ask ourselves why we do what we do, whether we're acting out of genuine conviction or out of a need to please others. This level of introspection isn't always easy, but it's essential for living authentically. Next, we must develop confidence in our own decisions and reasoning. The Stoics emphasize that wisdom and rational thought should guide our actions. When we make choices based on reason and moral clarity, we become less reliant on others' opinions. We can stand firm in our decisions even when they're unpopular or misunderstood, because we know they're rooted in what we believe to be right. We also need to accept that not everyone will like us, and that's perfectly okay. In fact, it's normal. Every person has their own beliefs, preferences, and experiences. It's impossible to please everyone, and trying to do so would mean constantly bending ourselves to fit into other people's molds, losing our own identity in the process. Instead, we should focus on being real and consistent with who we are. When we live authentically, we attract people who truly respect us and share our values. And even when we encounter rejection or criticism, we can take comfort in the knowledge that we're staying true to ourselves and living according to our Stoic ideals. In a world that constantly pulls at our time, attention, and energy, learning to say no is an essential skill. It's not just about turning things down, it's about standing firm in our priorities, protecting our values, and honoring our personal boundaries. Stoic wisdom teaches us to concentrate on what truly matters and what we can control. Sometimes that means declining invitations, opportunities, or demands that don't align with our deeper purpose. The Stoics believed in living in harmony with nature, which includes recognizing and respecting our own limitations. They understood that our time and energy are limited, and we must be wise in how we spend them. Saying no, then, becomes a practice in discernment, a way to ensure that we're investing ourselves in what is truly worthwhile, rather than being swept along by what's simply urgent or expected. But let's be honest, saying no is hard. It takes courage, especially when we're used to pleasing others or afraid of missing out. Still, the Stoic path encourages us to make choices based on virtue and rational thought, not fear or pressure. When we say no with quiet conviction, we're not just refusing something, we're affirming our values and our authenticity. So how can we improve our ability to say no? It starts with having a clear understanding of what truly matters to us, what we believe in, what we want to accomplish, and how we want to live. When you know your purpose and your priorities, it becomes much easier to recognize which demands support your journey and which distract from it. Saying no doesn't have to be rude or confrontational. It can be expressed with kindness and gratitude while still being firm. And as we get more comfortable with saying no, we'll experience a newfound freedom. We'll shed obligations that don't serve us and create space for the things that truly do. We'll grow in self-respect, honoring our own needs and boundaries, and others will notice this clarity and strength, often responding with respect for our integrity. Now, how does one truly let go with indifference? It's about learning to deeply understand and accept the difference between what's in our control and what isn't. We can control our efforts, our mindset, and our character, but we can't control how things turn out, what others do, or what fate has in store. Once we internalize this truth, we begin to let go of frustration, worry, and disappointment that stem from clinging to things beyond our reach. But letting go with indifference doesn't mean becoming apathetic or uncaring. It means caring wisely, focusing our attention and energy on what genuinely belongs to us, and calmly accepting everything else. It's about giving our best to the present moment and detaching from the outcome. Imagine how much lighter life would feel if you stopped obsessing over every missed opportunity or unexpected setback. What if you could resist being pulled into every bit of drama that has nothing to do with your core values or responsibilities? That's the peace that Stoicism offers, a deep, steady sense of resilience and balance, no matter what storms life may bring. To develop this mindset, we must begin with mindfulness. Pay attention to your reactions. Practice gently reminding yourself of what you can and cannot control. Like any valuable skill, this takes time and repetition. Start with the small frustrations of daily life and gradually work your way up to greater challenges. And as you practice, you'll notice something extraordinary. The less you try to control what's out of your hands, the more mastery you gain over your own mind and responses. You'll find a stillness inside you that remains untouched by chaos, a quiet strength that allows you to stay composed and focused, even when life becomes unpredictable. As we move forward on this path, guided by the teachings of Stoicism, we come to understand that our true power doesn't come from external circumstances. It resides within us. It lives in our capacity to choose our responses, to center our attention on what genuinely holds value, and to release our attachments with grace and acceptance. Always remember, the journey to inner peace and lasting fulfillment doesn't lie in chasing recognition, achievements, or material wealth. It is found instead in nurturing our character, in building resilience, and in developing a profound sense of serenity within ourselves. Thank you for walking alongside me on this path today, for being a meaningful part of this Stoic journal. I invite you to keep growing, keep exploring, and keep diving deeper into this ancient yet timeless wisdom by watching one of the recommended videos now appearing on your screen. Together, we continue to evolve, becoming stronger, wiser, and more firmly rooted in the values that lead us toward a life rich in purpose and authenticity. You don't really need anyone, or at least that's what it might seem like at first glance. Yes, friend, it may sound like a bold or even controversial statement in today's world, which is deeply immersed in social media, constant external validation, and a profound fear of loneliness. Yet, Stoic philosophy offers some valuable wisdom to counter this. You are enough as you are, your virtues, your flaws, and even those nagging doubts that sometimes keep you awake at night. The truth is, you don't need a partner to complete you, a friend to cheer you on, or an influencer on Instagram to guide your life. Everything required for your happiness is already within you. The challenge is learning how to be your own best companion. And though this journey may not be easy, it is certainly worth undertaking. In this video, I will share 10 lessons that will help you release the burden of depending on others. Along the way, you will discover how to become your own best ally, because once you master this, you won't find yourself needing anyone. If you're ready to take the first step, stay tuned for the last lesson, as it will leave you truly speechless. But before we dive in, let me share a story to help you understand the depth of wisdom in this material. Once upon a time, there was a man named Arturo who worked as a mechanic in a small workshop in his city. Arturo was well known for his exceptional skill with tools, but he was also known for relying heavily on others to make important decisions in his life. He often turned to his friends and family for advice before taking any significant step. One day, the owner of the workshop assigned him a challenging task: to repair a classic car that had been abandoned for years. Arturo, accustomed to seeking help, called a more experienced colleague, but received no answer. Desperate, he scoured through online videos and manuals, but none seemed to offer a solution. Frustrated and feeling isolated, he sat in front of the car and asked himself, "What would I do if there was no one else to turn to?" He began to examine the car closely, drawing on the knowledge he had gathered over the years, and started experimenting with solutions. Slowly, with patience and persistence, Arturo identified the faults and began fixing them. After hours of trial and error, he successfully repaired the car, and when he presented it to the owner, the man was astonished. "I thought you'd need help to fix it, but you did it on your own. How did you manage?" the owner asked. Arturo smiled and replied, "I realized that the best advice I can get is the one that comes from myself. When you trust your own ability to solve problems, you discover you have more tools than you ever imagined." The moral of this story is simple yet profound. In life, learning to trust yourself and your ability to face challenges is the key to true independence. It's not about never needing anyone, but knowing that when everything else fails, you can always rely on yourself. Now, before we dive into the lessons, I invite you to subscribe and activate notifications to keep up with all the latest updates. Let's begin with the first lesson. Learn to be your own best company. Have you ever felt like you need someone else to complete you? Maybe you've thought that if you had more friends, a more understanding partner, or the perfect job, your life would be infinitely better. But what if I told you that the real key to happiness isn't found outside of you, but deep within? Yes, it might sound like something out of a motivational book, but let me explain. True emotional independence, the kind that doesn't rely on anyone or anything, is a superpower that we can all develop. You might spend your life looking for someone who can complete you, but the reality is, the only person you truly need to feel whole and happy is yourself. It's not easy, I understand, but if you commit to it, you'll build such a strong relationship with yourself that no one else will be able to offer you what you already give yourself. This isn't about having a superficial relationship where you just look in the mirror and tell yourself, "I'm amazing." I'm talking about a deep connection that goes beyond your successes, your failures, or what others think of you. The Stoics practiced emotional self-sufficiency, and they believed that we don't need to depend on external circumstances to feel good about ourselves. This doesn't mean you become a hermit, shutting yourself off from the world. Rather, it means that when life doesn't go as planned, you can maintain your peace and inner calm without falling into chaos. Think about it like falling off your bike. Instead of crying about the scrape, you get up, smile, and keep going. That ability to bounce back quickly and not let anything or anyone knock you off balance is a skill you can develop. The key to achieving this is learning to enjoy your own company. Imagine yourself as a plant. If you rely entirely on rain or others for your survival, there will be times when you go without and you'll wither. But if you learn to extract water from the earth and become self-sufficient, it doesn't matter if it rains or not, you'll keep growing. This is the essence of inner strength. Not that you don't need others, but that you no longer depend on them for your sense of completeness. The path to this is simple. Make peace with your solitude and use that time to really understand yourself, to discover what makes you happy when no one else is watching. As the Stoics taught, reflection and introspection are essential tools for finding inner peace. And yes, it sounds cliché, but when you can be content with yourself, everything else will fall into place. The real lesson here is that true peace and happiness stem from your ability to be self-sufficient. Once you master the art of being enough for yourself, you'll realize that you never needed anyone else to feel whole. This doesn't mean you won't enjoy the company of others, but you won't rely on them for your happiness. Emotional independence is a gift you can give yourself. It's not achieved overnight, but with patience and practice, you can live fully without depending on external factors. As Epictetus said, "He who does not depend on anyone becomes the master of himself." Now, Let's move on to the second lesson. Learn to say no. Have you ever felt like the weight of the world is on your shoulders? Like you're just a doormat for everyone to unload their problems onto? I'm sure you've been there, but the truth is, you don't have to keep being the person that everyone turns to for help. The key to breaking free from this is an incredibly simple yet powerful tool: learning to say no. Stoic philosophy teaches us something very basic but vital. While we can't control everything, we do have the power to decide what we allow into our lives and what we don't. Imagine you're a wall. I know it sounds boring, but bear with me. A wall is impenetrable, and after a while, anything that tries to come in becomes a burden you can't release. Now, think of yourself as having a boundary, not a wall. Boundaries are clearly defined, allowing what's necessary to pass through, but keeping out what doesn't serve you. It's not about isolating yourself from the world, it's about setting limits to protect your well-being. Saying no isn't about rejecting the person asking, it's about rejecting what they're asking for at that moment. It's about not compromising your peace to meet the expectations of others. You won't be less loved or more loved by saying no. In fact, by respecting yourself and your boundaries, you'll earn more respect from others. The next time someone asks you for something, ask yourself, is this really important to me? If the answer is no, then you don't have to do it. Don't complicate your response with excuses. Simply say, I can't do it right now, or it's not something I can do. People will ultimately respect your sincerity more than any well-crafted excuse. At the end of the day, it's up to you to decide who can cross your boundaries and who must remain outside them. This isn't about becoming unapproachable, but about safeguarding what truly matters: your time, energy, and peace of mind. The Stoics understood this well. Living with purpose and without being swayed by the external pressures that others place upon us is a courageous act. Begin today by practicing the art of saying no. And if someone criticizes you for it, remember that a wall doesn't change its shape because of what others say, but a boundary knows where it should stand. Seneca wisely said that freedom begins when you learn to set limits without feeling guilty. The power of self-esteem is a fragile thing. We often let ourselves be influenced by what others think of us. One comment, one look, and suddenly we're questioning ourselves. It's as if our self-worth becomes a house of cards, vulnerable to a single gust of wind. If you want to break free from this instability, it's time to build an unshakable self-esteem that doesn't collapse with the opinions of others. The Stoics provided us with the key to achieve this. We don't need anyone else to feel whole. Imagine standing in front of a mirror. This isn't just any mirror, but a magical one that reflects not just your appearance, but your thoughts. Do you see yourself for who you truly are? Or do you see yourself through the lens of how you wish others would see you? It's interesting how our self-esteem has become a distorted reflection shaped by external expectations, the gaze of others, their judgments, and the constant feedback from social media that tells us whether we are good or bad. It's difficult to remain calm when it feels as if the entire world has something to say about you. But what if I told you that true confidence has nothing to do with what others think of you? The Stoics knew this. Instead of clinging to the opinions of others like they were essential to our survival, they cultivated something far stronger: self-sufficiency. This ability to rely on oneself for validation is the foundation of unshakable self-esteem. To build this, there are a few crucial steps. The first is to accept your imperfection. Nobody is perfect, and if you think you can attain perfection, you are likely deceiving yourself. The Stoics knew this well. Perfection is a fantasy. Instead, it's about being wise in how we manage our emotions and reactions. The second step is to stop seeking external validation. If you're constantly searching for approval, you will find yourself stuck on a hamster wheel, running endlessly without ever reaching your destination. The Stoics practiced indifference to criticism, knowing that the only evaluation that truly matters is their own. When someone criticizes you, simply observe it and let their words slide off you like water over a stone. Another important step is to practice gratitude for yourself. If you are unable to recognize your own accomplishments, no one else will do it for you. Make space to thank yourself and celebrate your progress, no matter how small. Every step forward is a victory. Stoic philosophy emphasizes the importance of daily reflection, a kind of personal balance sheet where you are your own judge. You must become your own support system instead of relying on others to lift you up. Self-pity does not equate to complacency. It's about understanding that we all have low moments, but we are capable of rising above them without needing someone else to do it for us. When you achieve emotional independence, you realize that you do not need constant approval from others. Unbreakable self-esteem is not based on what others say about you, but on what you tell yourself. Learning to live without the constant need for external validation will make you freer, stronger, and more authentic. If you stop looking to others for what can only be found within, you will discover that you are more than enough just as you are. As Marcus Aurelius told us in his Meditations, true freedom begins when you stop seeking from others what only you can provide for yourself. Now, let's talk about when silence becomes your best advisor. Have you ever found yourself surrounded by noise, yet felt a deep emptiness? I'm not just referring to the constant hum of city life or the endless buzz of phone notifications. I'm talking about the internal noise that makes you feel as though you need more people, more opinions, more external validation. But what if I told you that everything you need is already right there in front of you, in that uncomfortable space you try to avoid? Silence. In its purest form, silence is often seen as a threat. It's the place where we face our own company, and like a mirror, it reflects our true selves. It can be terrifying to be alone with your thoughts, but it is precisely in these moments that clarity begins to appear. When the noise fades, we finally hear what we need to hear, what belongs to us, what truly matters. The Stoics, with their practical philosophy, understood that inner peace does not depend on external circumstances. We do not need constant external support or an avalanche of words to feel validated. They understood that true strength lies in the ability to find serenity even when the world is chaotic. Instead of clinging to what we cannot control, they embraced silence and solitude as powerful tools for introspection and personal growth. You may not have noticed, but every time you carve out a moment of genuine silence, you open the door to a world of possibility. Imagine being alone in an empty room with no distractions, no obligations, just you, your thoughts, and the space around you. At first, it might feel uncomfortable, even empty, but if you have the patience to stay in that silence, you will discover that it has something to offer. In that space, you can begin to question your own thoughts, emotions, and desires. You may ask yourself why you rely so heavily on external validation, or why you look for answers outside yourself. The truth is that when you learn to listen to your own silence, you realize that you don't need anyone else to find the answers you seek. It is in solitude that you truly discover who you are and what you need to be happy. This is the power of silence. It doesn't force you to be someone you're not. It allows you to simply be yourself. Now, this doesn't mean you should stop relating to others or become a hermit. The key is finding balance. Learning to be alone and in silence teaches you to be less dependent on the opinions of others and to trust your intuition. It helps you find peace within yourself. It's like learning to swim in calm waters. No matter how fierce the storm may rage outside, you remain safe in your own space. No one can take that peace away from you once you've learned how to cultivate it from within. If you find it difficult to make time for silence, start with small moments each day, just a few minutes without music, without phones, without conversations. Even these brief moments will teach you that you do not need the constant company of others to feel complete. Ultimately, the peace and clarity you seek are not outside of you. They are within, waiting to be discovered in silence. Though it's not an easy or immediate process, it is undoubtedly the path to a fuller and more authentic life. Learn to value solitude and silence, and you will see how the noise of the world becomes irrelevant. As a wise proverb says, true freedom begins when you learn to listen to what silence has to tell you. Finally, let's explore the power of being your own hero. Have you ever felt like you needed someone to pull you out of a tough situation? We've all been there. Life isn't always smooth sailing, and sometimes it seems like everything is falling apart. But what if I told you that you don't need anyone else to get you out of the mess you're in? Yes, I know it sounds like a crazy idea, but the truth is that everything you need is already within your grasp. We've been sold the idea that we need a hero, a powerful figure who will swoop in and save us when times get tough. Movies, books, and television constantly reinforce the belief that someone else with extraordinary abilities is always there to rescue us from our troubles. But that's just a fantasy. The hero you've been searching for is already inside you. Yes, it's easier said than done, but the Stoics offer us a valuable lesson. You cannot control everything that happens around you, but you do have control over how you respond to it. Stoic philosophy invites you to view challenges as opportunities to strengthen your character. Instead of waiting for someone to come and solve your problems, why not become the hero of your own life? You already have all the tools you need, you just need to use them. The first step is to stop expecting things to change magically. The world is not going to adjust itself to make things easier for you. While it's true that life is filled with difficulties, sometimes overwhelming ones, once you realize that the only thing you can truly control is your attitude, everything will shift. This is where the magic lies. You have the power to turn every difficulty into a lesson for personal growth. To start, recognize that you are responsible for your own life. Instead of looking around for someone else to solve your problems, look inward and ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I grow through this difficulty? Life will never be perfect, but at least you can control how you choose to respond. Make your challenges the raw material for your evolution. It won't always be easy, but that is the key difference between being a passive observer of your life and becoming the protagonist. Remember, power doesn't come from outside, it comes from within. If you let your thoughts and emotions control you, your life will always be at the mercy of what happens around you. But if you take control, you will become the hero of your own story, rising after every fall. There's no need to rely on someone else for strength. You already have everything you need to move forward. You just need to learn how to use it. Be the hero of your life without depending on anyone else for success. Life is yours, and only you have the power to decide what to do with it. So the next time you feel lost or in need of external help, Remember that everything you need is right in front of you, your own strength. As Lao Tzu once said, the hero you seek won't come to save you because you were never in danger. You just needed to realize that you were always safe. Have you ever felt like you're carrying a huge weight on your shoulders even though you're surrounded by people? It's like carrying an invisible backpack full of stones, draining relationships, thoughts that never let you breathe, worries that add up to nothing. The good news is that you don't need anyone else to help you carry that burden. You can stop carrying that backpack on your own. This is where emotional minimalism comes in. But don't worry, I'm not talking about cutting people out of your life. I'm talking about learning to let go of what you really don't need. And believe me, it's not as complicated as it seems. Emotional minimalism is like doing a spring cleaning for your mind. You take a moment to assess what you've accumulated over time. Friendships that no longer bring you joy, thoughts that get stuck in your mind like an annoying song, or fears that make no sense. Stoic philosophy teaches the power of focusing only on what we can control, and that includes our emotions and relationships. If something or someone doesn't bring you peace, do you really need it in your life? Imagine being surrounded by people who constantly drain your energy. It's like being at a party where everyone is talking, but no one is listening. Every time you try to express yourself, someone adds more weight to your shoulders without you even realizing it. The worst part is that you get used to it, until one day you can't carry it any longer. The key is to identify the relationships and thoughts that steal your energy and learn how to let go of them without feeling guilty. So how can you start? The first step is to recognize if someone or something is leaving you drained. Start by questioning what it truly brings to your life. Sometimes we cling to things simply because we're used to them, but in reality, this extra weight is only holding us back. The same goes for expectations, those that tell us we need to be someone we're not or have something we don't. Here's the truth. You don't need all that. The Stoics understood this well. If you learn to free yourself from what you cannot control, you liberate yourself from unnecessary suffering. You don't need others to validate you or the world to bend to your wishes. Accepting that you are enough, just as you are, is a huge step. The next step is a bit radical but effective. Start saying no. Sometimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is learning to reject what doesn't serve you. It's not about being selfish, it's about protecting your energy. When you let go of what drains you, you create space for what truly nourishes you. So, how do you live without all the emotional baggage? Start by identifying what drains you and let go of what you don't need. Don't feel obligated to carry the expectations or emotions of others. In the end, the only thing you need in your life is what helps you become your best version. The rest is just noise. If you want to find peace, stop searching for it outside yourself. Look inward and let go of everything that hinders your happiness. The path to emotional minimalism is not easy, but with each step you will feel lighter and freer. As Brian Tracy once said, you don't need anyone else in your life to be happy, just yourself. Have you ever thought about what it really means to be free? I'm not talking about the freedom to do whatever you please, like skydiving or eating pizza at 3 a.m., though that certainly sounds fun. I'm talking about the real kind of freedom, freedom that allows you to live life on your own terms, without the pressure of a boss, a lender, or a credit card controlling your every move. That's the kind of freedom that financial autonomy provides. And as you may know, true freedom is not free. Want to be independent? You have to earn money and stop spending more than you have. The problem is, We're not talking about a video game where you can restart every time you fail. In real life, taking control of your finances is more like learning to ride a bike. At first, you fall and scrape your knees, and you might wonder if it's really worth it. But if you persevere, eventually you'll be able to go wherever you want without depending on anyone else. First, you have to understand that financial freedom doesn't just happen on its own. It's not a gift someone hands to you in a box. The truth is, everyone who has achieved financial independence has worked hard to free themselves from the chains of money. There are no shortcuts. It's not just about earning more, it's about managing what you already have. This is where Stoic philosophy comes in, accepting that life isn't always easy, but the key lies in how we respond to difficulties. The Stoics knew that the true source of freedom is controlling what we can control, and you, my friend, can control your finances. Start by making a realistic budget. I know it might sound boring, but think of your life like a game of chess and your budget as your strategy. Without it, you're just moving pieces without purpose. When you know exactly how much money is coming in and going out, you take the first step in making money work for you rather than the other way around. Get rid of debt as if it were a parasite. Debts can sneak into your life without you even noticing, and before you know it, they've become the worst kind of tenant, staying longer than they should. Do your best to eliminate them as quickly as possible. Invest in your future, because financial independence isn't achieved just by saving. You need to make your money work for you. This doesn't mean rushing into stocks without understanding them, but over time, you'll realize that if you do it right, your money can grow, just like a well-watered plant. Be mindful of your spending. There's nothing sadder than living on autopilot, spending money on unnecessary things. If you learn to say no to those impulsive purchases, you'll be taking significant steps toward financial autonomy. Remember, what you don't see, you won't spend. Being free doesn't mean having piles of money under your mattress. It means having control of your finances and not depending on anyone to keep you afloat. Most importantly, it means having the power to make decisions without worrying about the economic consequences. Financial independence is not something that is simply handed to you. It is a decision, a journey that requires careful, consistent effort. It is something you must gradually build, step by step, through dedication, sacrifice, and strict discipline. True freedom, in its purest sense, cannot be bought or traded. It is earned. This is a truth that I am here to share with you, my friend. Real freedom doesn't come from what you own, but from your ability to manage what you have. Your happiness is not determined by others, but by how you control and manage your own thoughts, actions, and emotions. It is quite fascinating how, almost without realizing it, we often give away the keys to our happiness to others. We do this with the hope that if someone else takes care of our emotional needs, life will become easier. We tend to think that if we have the right person by our side, everything else will fall into place. But what if I told you that your happiness has nothing to do with other people? In reality, you are the sole owner of your happiness. I know it may sound strange, but keep reading and you will begin to understand. The truth is that no matter how hard we try, we cannot control the emotions of others, and we certainly cannot place the responsibility for our happiness in their hands. Think about it. What happens if the person you expect to make you happy decides not to fulfill that role? Or worse, what if you become someone who constantly seeks approval from others to feel good about yourself? That kind of happiness, based on external validation, is unstable and unreliable. It is like trying to build a house on sand. No matter how many times you decorate the exterior, the foundation remains weak and unsteady if it is not grounded in self-control and personal understanding. Acknowledging that happiness is within your own hands is empowering, but it is important to recognize that achieving this internal peace is not easy. It requires deep and consistent effort to stop placing the responsibility for your well-being in the hands of others. The first step is understanding this truth. You must learn to be content with yourself without depending on external sources. While you may not have control over the things that happen around you, you do have control over how you respond to them. It's not about avoiding life's challenges, but about learning to navigate through them with the serenity that comes from knowing that everything is temporary, and you, at your core, will remain strong and resolute. So, the next time you feel trapped by the opinions or actions of others, remember this. You are the only person who has the power to decide how to live your life. Happiness does not come from outside sources. It is something that is cultivated from within. Once you learn to be happy on your own, you will not need anyone else to feel complete. After all, if you don't learn to be happy by yourself, who will do it for you? Let me make this very clear, my friend. Happiness is not something you will find in others. It is in how you choose to perceive the world around you. Now, let's talk about strength in adversity. Have you ever felt like the entire world is crashing down around you? Problems seem to multiply in ways that make you feel utterly helpless, as though you don't even know where to begin. In those moments, it's natural to think, who can save me from all this? But let me tell you something important. You don't need anyone to rescue you from life's difficulties. What you need to do is learn to adopt a Stoic mindset. Stoic philosophy is not just a collection of ancient ideas meant to make someone appear wise. It is a powerful emotional survival guide that teaches you how to stand firm during life's toughest moments. Rather than waiting for someone to swoop in and save you, Stoicism trains you to become the hero of your own story, no matter how dark the circumstances may get. Far too many people spend their lives waiting for fate or someone else to help them, but that's not how you learn to endure through life's challenges. The true strength comes from being able to remain calm and resilient no matter what life throws your way. The Stoics, who lived during times of war and great turmoil, understood that nothing outside of ourselves can truly bring us down, only what we allow to affect us. The key to your personal power lies in understanding the difference between what you can control and what you cannot. You can control your thoughts and reactions, but you cannot control others, the weather, or the unexpected phone call from your boss asking you to do something you hadn't planned. What you can control, however, is how you choose to face these challenges. I am not suggesting that you should become a cold, unfeeling robot. What the Stoics propose is that instead of being swept away by an emotional tide, you learn to swim against the current. It's like falling into a mud puddle. Rather than complaining and becoming upset, you simply stand up, knowing that the mud is temporary and that you have the strength to rise above it. Stoic calm is not the absence of emotion, but the ability to prevent your emotions from controlling you. One Stoic technique to help you do this is called negative visualization. This might sound a bit strange, but it's actually quite simple. The idea is to imagine the worst possible scenario that could happen in a situation that is causing you anxiety. When you visualize this worst-case outcome, you realize that it doesn't destroy you. It's not as scary as it seemed at first. This exercise helps prepare you for whatever might come your way, enabling you to face challenges with greater strength and serenity. Another piece of Stoic advice is to remember that you do not need anyone to make you feel complete. Now, don't get me wrong. I am not saying that you should stop loving your friends or stop appreciating the support of those who care about you. But emotional dependency on others is an obstacle. When you learn to manage your own emotional life and find peace within yourself, you come to realize that you don't need anyone else to be your anchor. True strength comes from within. When you cultivate this inner strength, you'll realize that you can face any storm without losing your peace of mind. Life will continue to present challenges. That is inevitable, but it's how you respond to those challenges that truly defines your journey. Stop waiting for circumstances to change before you can find peace. Take control of your life and face whatever comes your way with the calm confidence of a modern Stoic. True peace is not the absence of problems, but the ability to choose how you respond to them. Finally, let's explore the idea of being everything you need. Have you ever stopped to think that you don't need anything or anyone to be happy? It may sound strange, especially in a world where so many people are searching for something or someone to make them feel complete. But bear with me, because this is where things get interesting. When you learn to become everything you need, life transforms in ways you can't even imagine. The first thing you need to realize is that depending on others to feel happy is not only a myth, it's a mistake. Of course, it's wonderful to be surrounded by people who care about you, but if your happiness relies entirely on others, you will never fully control your own life. It's like relying on someone else to recharge your emotional batteries. But what if you could be your own charger? What if you could find that power within yourself? This is where self-awareness comes into play. Getting to know yourself is not a quick process. It's not a 5-minute introspection session followed by immediate answers. It's a long, sometimes uncomfortable, and often challenging journey. But the rewards are immense. When you truly understand yourself, you realize that you don't need constant validation from others. You don't need their approval or their love or their attention to feel good about who you are. The key is learning to live fully and independently, not in the sense of being alone, but in the sense of being content with your own company. When you no longer depend on others to define your worth, you will find true freedom. The Stoics understood this principle well. Stoic philosophy teaches that we cannot control what happens around us, but we can control our response to it. True freedom lies in not needing anything outside of ourselves to feel complete. I know this may sound like something from a cheesy self-help book, but if you think about it, it makes perfect sense. When you base your happiness on people or circumstances, you are always on an emotional roller coaster. But when you take control of your own life, no matter what happens around you, and realize that you already have everything you need within you, you find peace. So, how do you get to this point? First, let go of what you cannot control, the opinions of others, their malicious comments, and the external expectations placed on you. Stop carrying around all that unnecessary weight. Make a conscious effort to truly understand yourself. Ask yourself the deep, difficult, uncomfortable questions. Discover what you really like, what makes you feel good without anyone telling you what you need to feel complete. The next step is to cultivate emotional independence. This is not about being alone. It's about being at peace with yourself, enjoying your own company, and not feeling like you need anyone else to make you feel whole. With every step you take toward this independence, you'll be closer to realizing that you are everything you need to be. Life is about understanding that happiness doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from within. When you stop needing others to define your worth, you realize that everything you've been searching for, you already have. And that, my friend, is true freedom. No matter how painful it may seem, I'll make it clear to you. Fulfillment doesn't come when you find what you're looking for. It comes when you realize you already had everything inside of you all along. If you've made it this far, write in the comments, "I don't need anyone to be happy." I encourage you to subscribe, turn on notifications, and comment so that YouTube knows these videos are helpful to people like you. This motivates us to keep creating content like this. Thank you for your time and support, and I'll see you in the next video.